Previously on Ramblecast. Chris was leaving for the beach, and Jack had just fallen out of his chair. We heard a large, gigantic crash, and then it was just Nick and I. I'm Matt. Chris is gone. I'm joined with Nick, and hopefully Jack will make it back.
Or will he?
Or will he? We were gonna let the voters decide on his fate. But we actually kind of are worried about humanity right now.
So choose your own adventure.
I think
I don't know. I don't know if I want to put it up to a vote because they might vote me out.
Oh my God, Jack's here!
Where did you come from?
I'm Ghost Jack.
I just was worried too many fans would say if he dies, he dies.
He dies. As we always said on Sports Talk.
Yeah,
that was Russ's favorite thing to say.
And it's funny that you should mention Sports Talk because a long time ago, when Rob was actually on the show,
wow, that's way back.
That's way back. He had a coughing fit, and Jack was so worried that something was wrong, and he would have to somehow call the house to make sure that he was okay. This was before live video. Now, fast forward to last week when something happened. And Jack, we can kind of let you take it from there. But we were all left a little bit like, oh my gosh.
The video is pretty intense. You have my wife coming in. Well, this is what happened. I've had some issues for a while. And
we all know that.
Yeah, issues that people may not know about, not the ones I already have.
Oh, okay.
But I've been having shortness of breath and just different stuff and all those different things. And about 3 days before we recorded, I had passed out in the studio and got back up and didn't think much of it because, I'm just who I am. Then we're recording, and I think Nick was talking about his cheese balls. Or getting ready to talk about his cheese balls. Yeah. And I felt the same thing I felt 3 days ago where someone's like pinching I can't breathe. And then I go, so I went to go get a drink. And the next thing you know is I'm going face first onto the floor. And you have Nick still talking. Matt has a look on his face like, where did Jack just go? And Chris goes, "Hey, I don't want to interrupt you, but I think Jack just died." And just then Cindy comes running in. "Oh my God, get up, Jack!" And I'm like,
"Oh my gosh, yeah." That part I tried to burn out of my brain that night.
Yeah, sorry, but I had no idea I literally have no clue. You can see in the video, I have no clue what's going on. You guys, I feel bad for you because you're helpless. There's nothing. Cindy can't hear you, and she's freaking out.
Imagine, if you will, the Superman 2. Okay, there's these people trapped in a plane of glass that are just floating along in space. They can't do anything. That's what it felt like.
That's a great analogy. Yeah,
that's fantastic. Yeah,
because we could not break through and scream at Cindy because she's asking you all of these questions that we know the answers to, at least this much.
Well, I see you guys going like this. Headphones. But she at this point, to be fair to her, she came in and she said she thought I was dead because I was just laying there in a puddle of blood.
Yeah.
And, and so I get up and I'm like, and I still wanted to record.
You did.
And she's like, "Ah!" So she calls Jay. Jay runs over because she actually called 911. I said, "No, I'm not going in an ambulance. I'm fine. I don't even need to go to the hospital." Then I saw my lip. I go, "Okay, I need to go to the hospital."
Yeah.
But it was a lot of blood and a lot of stuff. And, I stayed a couple days in the hospital and everyone knows how much fun that is. And this is not a knock on nurses and doctors and stuff like that, but you can't get any rest in a hospital. And they're in there every 20 minutes. They're checking your blood. They're checking this. They're checking that. But then they always go, "Get some rest." As they're leaving. Yeah, okay, I'll try. But I had since I had fallen, I had the restriction of not being able to get up to go to the bathroom on my own. So every time I had to go to the bathroom, I had to buzz them. "Yeah, I got to go to the bathroom." "Oh, no problem." They're thinking, "Oh, this guy's a pain in the neck." Finally, I talked them out of turning off the alarm.
Oh.
So I could go to the bathroom on my. I go, literally, it's 3 feet. And the first time they wanted to come in with me, I go, and I think I told you before off air that I had to pee in a cup. Then the lady I go, "I can't pee with you in here." I just can't. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I just imagine you like calling the nurse's station. Who wants to see my penis? I gotta go to the bathroom again.
I got a great. In fact, you can't. You guys might be able to see it, but
no.
Can you see my head?
Surface of the sun.
There's a glare off
Gorbachev.
Oh,
I'm sorry. It looks like Gorbachev. So I was saying I'm Gorbachev. The whole because I don't know what I hit. I maybe hit the fish tank. The stand for the fish tank. I don't know. But it was an interesting couple of days, and they didn't really find anything. They think I might have arrhythmia, or what's it called? Arrhythmia, where my blood pressure drops real quick. So they got me on a heart monitor for a month. Of course, I don't have it on right now because it broke last night, and they have to overnight me another one. And Cindy goes, it'll probably happen tonight because you don't have it on.
We're here. We're here for you, Jack.
Yeah. Well, I told Cindy, next time, just get the headphones. Grab the headphones. But she was freaking out. She goes, I always thought I was good under pressure. And I'm like, no. No.
There's at least 3 of us now that know what your wife is going to sound like when she finds you dead.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not and I like Cindy a lot. Like she gave you a lot of grief for teasing me about the.
Oh, yeah. Yes, she did.
So.
She pointed out again when I was sitting in the hospital. That's karma. You gave Matt such a hard time. I go, all right, yeah, that's what it is. It was karma.
More like some Katma. I did not want that on you, Jack, at all. So.
Well, I appreciate. Like I said, I felt bad for you guys. I felt like I said my whole family was freaking out, and Jay and Colleen brought Zach by the next day, and he's looking. I go, "Why are you bringing him?" He looked at me like, he was like, "Oh, Papa's messed up."
Yeah,
because I got 3 stitches. Because my middle of my lip was literally you could put my finger in between it. There was a gap there, and the corner was cut. I chipped my tooth, and other than that, though, I feel great. I was just glad to get out of the hospital because it's just nothing to do. I mean, I got to watch. At least they had Caddyshack. One channel had Caddyshack and Groundhog Day.
They were playing Caddyshack recently. Was it TNT or something like that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then they had what's it called? Airplane.
Oh, okay. The Zucker brothers.
All the late 70s, early 80s classics.
Yeah. So the only problem is they had commercials.
Oh
my God, the commercials took forever, but
and all of the cussing that's blurped out.
Yeah, they take that out.
But Rat Farts is hilarious though. Yeah. However way you look at it. So the golfer that dies. Okay.
Right. All right. Well, he doesn't die. Monsignor.
Oh, okay. Monsignor doesn't.
He just gives up. He gives up his. He no longer believes in God or something like that. Now, God, that's don't. I don't know no more bad karma. That was just a scene from a movie. But I'm good. I'm doing all right, and I'll survive. It just next time I'll know to just not try and get anything to drink. Just stay in my chair. Yeah, plastic cups or.
Solo cups. Yeah.
So that's why it was only a 21 minute podcast or 20-minute podcast. Yeah. People like, why was it so short?
Ended abruptly.
Ironically, one of the most exciting podcasts I've ever been on.
Yeah, it definitely took some years off my life. That's for sure.
I said I showed the hospital. All the people at the hospital wanted to see the video, so they're like, "Wow, you just dropped." I go, "Yeah," and then the doctor, the heart doctor, he goes, well, let me see. Can I? So they kept watching it over and over and over again. And the other doctor goes, people watch this? I go, oh, no. It's more like a video. It's just an audio. We're just recording so we can see each other. It's just a way of recording. I go, it's lucky it wasn't a Patron's Choice podcast.
Oh, God.
Oh, man.
Just thought about that. But no, she goes, are you guys interesting? I go, well,
we like to think so.
We think so, but she goes, what are you talking about? I go, it's just random. It's just random stuff.
I'm just curious who out of this whole scenario actually ended up buying more cheese balls. Like one of the nurses subconsciously got it in. Like, I watched something today, but I don't. Hey, did you know Planters has cheese balls back?
Yeah, I haven't got to that yet. That was a cliffhanger. There's people out there who still not know about the cheese balls. I'm going to get to that story.
Well, another was they were saying because I thought I was coughing. I guess you guys told Cindy I wasn't coughing, or someone that told Jay or someone.
Colleen, basically after Jay told her, within minutes, gave me a call and tried to pick my brain of exactly what happened. And then that was like one of the last questions she said. She goes, "Was Jack coughing?" And I said, "No." I was like, "He was coughing when he got up, but not before." And then she goes, "Okay, because Jack's saying he's coughing on the way down." And I said, "No." I was like, "That's not my memory of it at all." No, and then after I watched the video again, it wasn't. You were coughing afterwards, not before. At least that's the way I remember it.
Anyway,
well, we're really glad that you're okay.
I'm fine.
I was very worried, for the fans that are just learning now. Like last week, this time, I was really like, we were all very like, oh my gosh, like. I
literally felt bad because, like I said, when I see the video and I see your faces and the helplessness, where I'm just standing there bleeding. And he's like, sit down.
Hey, who needs to ref hockey when you've got podcasting, Jim?
Exactly. It's the same thing.
It's like you took a puck to the face.
It's funny today. I was cleaning up some blood, and she goes, and she was in here. I go, if you just would have told me to sit down, because that's all she was saying was sit down.
Oh,
you were so incoherent. You were getting up and going. You're like, "Oh, I need to go back to podcasting." And you're like, "Oh, hey guys," "Oh, hey."
I really messed up. We gotta go.
But that was when you said that, though. That was when you were actually making sense, though.
Yeah. The first time I said, "You want to keep recording?" I think I said.
Oh, I half expected you to text us or message us back later that night. And say, "Hey, I'm good, guys.
Yeah, let's finish the episode."
Yeah, let's finish this.
Maybe if they would have sent me home.
Well,
because even that night I go, I have to stay here? You can't just sew me up and send me home and I'll come back tomorrow?
Jay, I think, even remarked like that. He said, "Laugh out loud, my dad would be the one person that would die podcasting." And I thought, that's one way he'd get into the record books.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it was my first time in an ambulance, but it was like no lights, no rush. I was just sitting there going, I was just a transfer.
Oh, but at least you knew what was going on, though, because like the one time I've been in an ambulance, you're so hopped up on drugs, you're so weak that you don't even remember it. You remember like them probably putting you in, but after that, you don't remember any of it because like just the jarness of you getting put in there. You remember that, but after that, I don't remember anything about it after that.
Yeah, I had a friend that was medevaced out on a helicopter here. I said, "Oh, that's kind of cool." He goes, "Well, I don't remember any of it." Oh, I guess that's right.
Yeah, but, we don't get to remember those very special.
You think they'd film it kind of like when you go to amusement park and you go down the roller coaster or the slide and they have a picture of you at the end.
Yeah,
maybe they should just do the same, film the helicopter ride so you can have an option to pay for it.
This is what you looked like when you were drugged up. And
honey, let's watch the wedding video, and after that, let's watch Jack's first ambulance ride.
Play the part where he drops.
Yeah,
let's see that part one more time.
We won't be releasing that part of the video.
Nope.
Chris felt really bad. I knew he would for saying that about like I think Jack just died.
Well, I probably would have said. I would have said the same thing.
Yeah, I forget what I was going to say now, but like
I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's because you're talking about the doctors and the nurses watching the video, and that's what Colleen said to Chris to make him cheer up. Was that she goes, "Hey, if it makes you feel any better, all the doctors and nurses thought that line was funny."
Yeah, they did. They go, "Wow, he just said you died." I go, yeah. We joke back and forth, and it's just they didn't know, and I joke around a lot, so who knew if I was just goofing around or.
I felt bad just listening to the audio and being like, I laughed when the glass crashed. Like that's my laughter when the glass crashed. So
that's all right.
Yeah.
I would have laughed too.
Oh, and you did.
If I was awake.
Yeah. and you would laugh at other people's expense too.
I would. If someone gets attacked by a cat, I'm laughing.
Falls down and
falls
down the stairs in a basement.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to laugh. So I have to accept it. I'm up. I'm moving. So it's not like I died or anything.
Well, we're
that we
glad
know
that you're
of.
back with us, Jack. So, and
I can't drive though. I literally can't drive until they figure out what's wrong.
oh,
Yeah, I can see that.
So I at least 6 months, it's at least 6 weeks, I can't drive because they don't want me passing out and taking out a bunch of cars and stuff. It's one of those rules.
Get you a golf cart. Little rascal. Something.
honestly, no more or less dangerous than most people texting. So I feel like, you're like, yeah.
I don't know if it was a doctor or someone that said maybe they should just wrap you in bubble wrap next time you podcast or something, so it breaks your fall. They were a lot of fun to be there. They're all well, all helpful and all that stuff. But man, it's no fun being there.
No, I can't. Yeah, and to be trapped there too for 2 days,
Yeah. Well, like the first night, I didn't get there till 3:30 in the morning to the other hospital when they finally transferred me over, and there's some guy was next to me was just moaning. Oh, I go.
Can I have a better room?
I felt
Scrooge.
Well, it worked out great because they have to take all your history, then they have to take this, then they're asking you how it happened. Then I go like, is there a point where I get to sleep? Because it's now like 7 in the morning. They've just for 3 hours test. And they go, well, they'll be in like an hour. I go, okay. And I get slept for like 10 minutes, and they're like in there again. We got to take your blood.
All right.
I know.
Go to my studio.
I thought you for sure were going to be like, I thought I ordered the single room, not the double. You know who I am?
I know you probably don't enjoy watching it, but it would have been a perfect sedative for you as the World Cup. So,
yeah, I could have got up. Actually, I would have looked real though. I'm not like one of those people in the World Cup where they, hangnail and they're like dying.
Oh no, your fall looked like a legitimate. You got fouled. You should have gotten a penalty kick for that. But
red card is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I just while you were in the hospital, I didn't know if you just turned on the old World Cup to put you to sleep.
Well, no, there was actually one of the nurses was watching. She's from Colombia.
Oh yeah,
and she was on her phone watching as she was doing my test. She goes, "Is it okay if I go?" Yeah, I understand. So she was watching the game as she was doing all my tests. She goes, "Yeah, I almost called in, but I couldn't call in or something like that. They knew I'd be out because she watched the other game at someone else's house. It was full of Colombians. She said it was just craziness."
Speaking of the World Cup, I learned something today, which I thought could only happen in Japan because they're that smart. Is that, who did Japan play a few days ago or whatever in the World Cup? I don't know. I don't watch the World Cup.
Right now they're doing the semifinal games. I don't know.
My team didn't make it
onto the quarterfinals.
Well, whoever Japan was playing, the city of Tokyo anticipated the excitement because it was a very close game the entire time. And they noticed early in the game that the city water systems hadn't moved much, so everyone was not going to the restroom.
Oh.
So they increased or decreased the pressure, knowing that everyone was going to go to the bathroom at halftime.
Wow.
And
nice.
Because as soon as halftime happened, the water pressure in Tokyo went up by 27%.
Wow.
So it was like everyone just went.
A group toity.
Yeah, so that's the thing, and like they were saying, like think about it, like any other city, if all of a sudden the half the population just went to the bathroom and all hit flush at the same time, it would just kill the water system and probably cause all the toilets to back up. And so like only Japanese, that's how smart they are. Just like, oh, we're going to anticipate
thinking 2 steps ahead.
Yeah, I just thought that was like that's really smart.
Well, it is one of those things where people don't want to leave and they don't want to. I know. I was watching England versus the game. England lost. Lost 1-0.
Yeah, to Belgium.
It was actually pretty exciting. I watched the second half. It was pretty exciting.
The Japan game, the last game they played was against Poland, and they lost.
It wasn't Poland, and it was another team. So I remember
they also played against Senegal. So
maybe it was Senegal
before that. So and that was a tie. So
that must be it then.
Yeah. I don't want to segue into World Cup games, but I've been enjoying watching them.
Well, you're a big soccer fan anyway, right?
I'm not like a huge soccer fan. I just enjoy the game. It's what brought me into American football. So I know it's a weird way of doing it, but
I didn't grow up with soccer. I had no idea how soccer went. I just thought it was a lame version of hockey.
Well, warmer version.
A warmer version.
A warmer version. Right.
And in 2014, when I moved out here to California, it was the last World Cup, and most of my cohort was from other countries, and we all just as a community watched a lot of TV together, and so that's all we did was watch the World Cup. And I'd say it took me about 4 games to finally appreciate soccer, because to me it's like a big chess game. I get it now. I was like, oh, I see. Like these people moving to defense, these people on offense, and then it's moving back and forth in order to get it to this goal. I was like, okay, I got it. I see why the excitement. But I still am not going to watch a soccer game. Like
I think it's easier when you have like I'll watch it a lot when the Americans are in it, but we didn't qualify. So
right.
Right.
But kudos to Fox for still airing some of the games. At least my local station is. So,
well, it's
prior to that,
especially America. I mean, you got people from all over. So,
but prior to that, the group play you couldn't really find on any American broadcasting. I mean, if you paid for Fox Sports, but I don't do that. So, I had to basically watch it through a Telemundo app. Which was really interesting. I learned
that's Spanish, right?
It is, yeah. I was like, oh, every now and then I'd be like, oh, they said the word red. I know that.
What was the score? 1-2 dos.
They never got up to ocho, but anyway, it's
if it gets up to ocho, the goalie's having a bad game.
Yeah,
very bad game.
Yeah. That goalie ain't going back home.
Well, just to put a pin in our World Cup talk, Colombia and England are playing tomorrow. So
I thought England was out.
No, that was in the group play. So they did lose that game, but they in the group play basically you play each of the team one.
I got it. Okay.
A win is worth 3 points. A tie is worth 1 point, and if you lose, you get no points. And so all of the 4 teams play each other, and then the best 2 go on to the Sweet 16, basically.
Wow.
So
this thing's going on forever.
Well, now that it's into the Sweet 16, it goes down to quarterfinals, and then it'll go down. It goes down pretty quick after this.
Now this is being played in Russia, right?
Yes.
They're not influencing the games, are they?
Well, somehow they beat Spain in the penalty kick shoot off.
They're not like throwing 2 balls onto the field. They're not putting like fake Facebook messages against the other team or anything like that.
I don't think so. But
they cannot be trusted.
They are going up against Croatia in the quarterfinals.
Croatia,
yeah. So
that should be a fun game.
I just really enjoy the game as far as there's no commercials, so you can just kind of have it on in the background. Sure, there's not a lot of action from time to time, but then you get more stuff done.
The only thing I don't like is what they have to add extra time on.
Oh,
and you're like going, where do they come up? I mean, really, how much do they come up with this time?
Well, it's just that.
It is so random.
It makes sense, though, in the fact that they don't stop the clock like we do in American football when there's a penalty. They just add it on to the end of the game.
It's so convenient, though. Like Brazil will get 5 minutes of stoppage time, but other countries, it's like, oh, you only get 2.
I know when I was playing soccer as a kid, our coach used to tell us if we had the lead, because they didn't add on time when youth went back then. Kick the ball out of bounds as far as you can. So we just kick it out, and the coach we scream, ah! But that's just part of the game. I mean, you get the lead and kick the ball as far as you can out of bounds.
Yeah, take as much time off the clock as you can too.
That's how we play in America.
Right.
You can't see it because we're not there, but that's how we play.
So I'm going to finally tell my cheese balls announcement.
Do you want some music?
Cheese balls.
Cheese balls. Okay, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who know exactly what I'm talking about. And
actually, can I say something? It's not something anyone really brags about. Is having cheese balls, is it?
I'm not bragging. It's just a happy day.
I'm just saying it's like a medical condition, isn't it?
That's what she said.
Oh.
You need to take a shower there, buddy.
Your balls smell like cheese. A little munstery down there.
It's just the way they smell. What?
Reminds me of an old married man show, but I won't go into that one.
That's not blue cheese. Okay. Go ahead, Nick. We keep interrupting your cheese balls.
Yeah, do it before I pass out.
Yeah. Oh, careful. You got some liquid there in your hand.
It's Gatorade.
Okay. So as a kid, my great-grandmother and my grandmother, I don't know why, but they would always buy me the little Planters cans of cheese balls and the cheese curls every now and then. But the cheese balls was the main ones I ate. I loved them forever. And then about 15 years ago, Planters just stopped making them. And I was devastated.
Now, why did they stop? I know you told the story before, but you complained about it.
Yeah, they never said. They just quit making them. I probably didn't notice it at the time because I was in college. And, you're just eating other crap food at the time anyway. And when I finally got my place, I was like, I want some cheese balls. I had a craving, and I couldn't find them anywhere. And I went store after store, and that's when I wrote the letter to Planters. And I said, hey, why can I not find cheese balls? And they're like, oh, we quit making them. And I was like, what?
I just imagine that, actually this quest was a 3-month-long quest where you have a big map in your room and things are X'd out and you have strings.
He's like Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and then finally you're like, I need to go to the source.
I do. And I wrote Planters. And the thing is, that's what I love about our listeners. I had so many people tell me that this actually was announced. I didn't even have to look it up. People were like, did you see this? Planters is coming back. And
you told this story a couple of years ago, right?
A couple of years ago, yeah. And then we recapped it again a few weeks ago. And that's why I'm saying that the government or whoever listens to the Ramblecast, because now it's coming back just because I said it again. But so anyway, on when I tried to say it, as of yesterday, you can now order Planters cheese balls and cheese curls for a limited time on Amazon and Walmart.com. But we prefer Amazon/Jack. You have to get them in bulks though of 12 cans, which is fine with me because I was probably gonna order a lot anyway, just because you never get them again.
So it's just a limited. It's just a limited time.
That's what they're saying, but I bet if enough people get them, they'll keep going.
I mean, doesn't it cost money to set the equipment and change everything to make cheese balls? I mean, I don't know what factory they're using.
Yeah,
but they have peanuts and pretzels. Don't they have pretzels? Planters pretzels and pretzels, all different kinds of snacks.
Yeah.
What kind of gadgets do you have to? I mean, I don't know what you have to do to refigure everything to make cheese balls.
Maybe they had sold their puffer machines, the things that make them puff up. I don't know. I assume
what makes Planters cheese balls better than the other cheese balls out there?
Well, I don't know, because what you end up having to get now, which I bought these a week ago, or the Utz big.
Oh wait, a week ago?
Yeah. So you get the big Utz plastic one that's like a gigantic.
For the listeners at home, he just held up a very huge giant jug that's probably 2 times the size of Nick's head, and Nick's got a pretty healthy head.
Anyone who's seen a water cooler?
It's only about an eighth, a water cooler size, and it's only about an eighth full. I would say maybe a smidge over that, 3/16.
Yeah, let's see how many ounces it is. So it is
a quarter. Sorry,
it is
a bit more than
35 ounces or 2 pounds and 3 ounces.
There you go.
Now are those Unces who makes great Utz makes great chips. I love their pretzels. They have the best pretzels. Now, those cheese balls are not as good as the Planters cheese balls?
They are not, in my memory. Because once I learned that there's no longer Planters, I had to switch to something else, which I rarely eat these anyway. So
yeah, we can see that.
They are gluten free.
Well, Maggie be happy.
Yeah. And they're a softer cheese ball, and they're not as cheesy. My memory of Planters cheese balls is they're just a little bit harder,
crunchier,
yeah, and they have a much more cheese flavor to them. But we'll see. It could be one of those things where, I don't know, name something from the 80s or from your childhood, Jack. That
Starsky and Hutch.
No, I got food.
Oh, food.
Name a food that you loved that's no longer made, and you have this great memory of it, and then it gets remade, and you're like, oh, it's not how I remember it. Because your taste buds change.
Actually, there was something, and I can't remember what it was. A few years ago.
Doritos 3D.
I never liked those.
Oh.
I didn't either. Yeah.
Those were the good. And that's why they, because it just felt like you're biting into. There was
nothing there.
A chip. You want some solidness to it, right? You want something there, and that was the chip 3D thing. Was like, I mean, they had the actress who was
she was hot,
married to Mario Lopez for a week, but the commercial was great.
Oh,
it made you want to buy them, but then when you got them, you're like, these suck.
Yeah, like Tostitos came out with a new one, at least that I saw the other day. It was like a multi-grain salsa something, and I got them, and they're okay. But
I'm trying to remember what it was. There was something I got, and I was like, oh, I used to love this as a kid. And guy was like, okay.
You guys remember Planters also had the PB Crisps? They were like a peanut butter.
Oh.
They were like they had a crispy, crunchy cookie outside, but then peanut butter on the inside.
Right. Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Now, yeah. Okay. I know what you mean now. Yeah.
Do they still make it, or do they stop?
No, they don't make that anymore.
All right. Your job is to write planners and find out.
I want my PB Crisp back.
Because then in about a year from now, they'll be out.
Oh, yeah, sure, totally. Or
and
maybe
all the listeners will go, Matt.
I mean, there's always stuff like that. Because I remember in the 80s, there was this thing called Bonkers candy, which was, I don't remember what it was, but it was like 2 layers of taffy, like two different layers. Like you had a center one and then one on the outside. And it was really good, but they didn't make it.
They used to have one called the Marathon Bar.
Mm-hmm.
It would overlap each other. It was like a big pack. It was chocolate and caramel. And the best thing about that is when they first came out in the Sunday paper, they had free. You could get a free Marathon Bar with a coupon.
Huh?
You could just go to the store and get one. Well, what happened is most people didn't clip it out, so we went around all the newspapers and got hundreds of these things. You can only get one at a time, but we just go out and get one, then come back an hour later, get another one.
That's weird. The Marathon Bar, huh?
Yeah,
it's got like holes in it.
Yeah.
Oh,
you see it?
Yeah, I pulled it up. It's also was known as the Curly Whirly.
Whirly.
Yeah, I don't know why the mix-up of the names, but apparently...
Marathon Bar, because it lasts a long time.
Like a jawbreaker.
Oh, Cadbury. It says the Marathon Bar is gone, but the Cadbury Curly Whirly definitely takes its place. So the Curly Whirly is the replacement. So, I
didn't know the Curly Whirly was even out there.
I didn't either. I'm just doing a little, looking on Google as we do the show.
I know I've complained about this. Dorito used to have, when Dorito first came out, it had corn chip Dorito chips,
right?
Which were the best. They don't make those anymore. Everything they make has to have flavor. It's like the taco chip is a rare. I think you can still get them in California.
You can get the tacos, yeah.
Yeah, but you can't get them anywhere. Once in a while, you'll see them here, and I get like 5 bags of them. But you can't find them. But the regular, old-fashioned Dorito chip, just bring it back.
Well, it's like Chris and I have said, we like the Salsa Rio Dorito, which was only made in the early 90s, something like that, and they quit making it, and that was a good Dorito as well. Why they got to get rid of stuff?
I don't know. I just stumbled down like a rabbit hole of looking up discontinued.
You've taken over for Chris.
I kind of have.
He's the researcher now, like the fact checker.
So what gum has been?
I can't read that much. I just stumbled across something called Cherry Clan, Cherry Humps, and Cherry Lumps.
Cherry Lumps and Cherry Humps. That's a gum or a candy?
I have no idea. It's on a list of discontinued candy and gum.
What was it? Cherry what?
Cherry Humps and Cherry Lumps. They're 2 separate types of things. I'm just Dr. Pepper gum was a thing.
Oh, I remember that. I don't like Dr. Pepper, but I remember it.
Let's see, Gatorade gum.
Apparently. I remember. I used to love. I used to buy Gatorade gum all the time. My problem with Gatorade gum, though, it was like that Stride Right gum.
Oh yeah, Fruit Stripe.
Literally, after a minute, the gum's in your mouth. You're like, okay, it's gone.
Oh yeah, like Altoids. Only for a few years made fruit flavored Altoids, and my favorite was like a tangerine citrus one. Those things were awesome, and they quit making those.
Huh.
Because I don't like the peppermint one.
Yeah, I was like, they have the white ones. Everyone recognizes the peppermint, regular, spearmint, all that. No, like I'm sure if Matt's truly being Boston right now, you can just Google Altoid tangerine, and it's a metal tin with an orange circle cover.
I remember those.
They were awesome.
You can find a lot of those tins in like stoners' cars across the country still.
Yeah, the tins are still around for sure. Yeah.
So,
dude, no, really, it's mints.
That's what's in.
They don't make those anymore.
That's what's in my Altoids case, man.
Yeah,
trying to bust me, dude.
His name is Ralph.
But that's the best thing about Cracker Barrel candy that you haven't seen in years. They'll have like the blackjack gum or the other kind of Beeman's, stuff like that. But
they have a direct candy supply from Grandma and Grandpa from
it must be just like old candy they just keep. That people never but they somehow have it.
There's something called an Old Nick candy bar.
All right.
I wish that this list had pictures. It's just a list, so I have not. Is it bitter? It's bitter and tastes like pickles.
Yeah.
It comes in a Confederate flag wrapper.
No, but it looks like it could have been from that era,
from the 1860s. Yeah.
Actually,
this candy bar will rise again.
There's two candies that are probably the candies of the South, which is moon pies for sure, and then what do they call, like something like McGoos, or they're awful. But I remember them being on every freaking hotel pillow as a child. I had to look it up, but
when you wash it down with a Bud Light.
Yeah, or Keystone, or Natty Light, depending on your budget, or ice. Anything with ice after it.
I could go on forever on candy. Cindy bought some of that. You remember that long flat taffy they used to have? Maybe you don't remember as a kid. It was flat. It was like paper thin taffy, and it was like a foot long, like about 3 inches by. And it would have like different stripes, different flavors. And be like in a wax paper.
Yeah.
She found it she likes taffy, and she found it at the Cracker Barrel. So she bought like 5 of them. The problem is when you opened it, she couldn't get the paper off the taffy.
Oh yeah.
So she was getting all frustrated.
I remember having some of those dots that come on the wax paper. If you ever,
I never liked the dots.
I never did too, because it always came off with the paper, and I'm like, this is like 80% sugar, and then 20% wood pulp, a little bit of wax.
You used to like the candy necklaces, not for the candy, but if you bit it right and you pull back like this, you could shoot it at people.
Oh,
did you ever do that?
I never did that
with a candy necklace.
No.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You put it around and you put the elastic in your mouth. You get a piece of it, you bite it off, and then you pull back like a slingshot. And you let go, and it shoots and propels into whoever's across from that. And you just stand there like this.
You didn't have many friends, did you, as a child?
No, but that's what we did.
Goo Goo clusters. That's what I was thinking of.
Goo Goo clusters.
Yeah, Goo Goo clusters. Is that like nuts and stuff?
It's just it looks like just a chocolate glob, and think of like Rice Krispies just covered in chocolate. That's kind of like what it is. But that's I remember those being on my pillow. Like most of the time you get those little chocolate mints, back forever ago. You don't see that anymore.
Oh yeah, the Andes ones.
You used to have the Andes. Like that's what you'd always get. But in the South, it was always Goo Goo clusters.
Now, when you got to your pillow, was there chocolate all over the pillow?
You didn't stay at that hotel if that was the case.
But, by the way, staying at a hotel that puts anything Goo Goo on my pillow, I'm not cool with.
If I got Goo Goo, if there's something Goo like Matt's saying, I'm coming in there with an ultra blue light, checking to see if the sheets are clean and if it has clusters in the name, just leave it off my sheets too.
So both words should not be together on my bed at the same time.
If it looks like something that's already been eaten,
unless I'm making
then I don't want it.
Cluster myself.
It's like when you used to go to the hotel and they used to have the paper around the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
on
yeah.
the toilet seat to show that it was clean. They don't even do that anymore.
It's true.
I don't even trust that paper. I'm like, how do I know that you're clean? I got to get another piece of paper.
It's kind of like just nostalgia. Like it was a year and a half ago when when Zima came back, and then Jay was all happy that Zima was back, and like Boston and I were like looking at him going like, really? Did you really grow up with Zima, or are you just trying them now? Because no one liked Zima ever.
Now Bartles and James came back.
Did it? Okay.
No, I mean if it came back.
If it came back.
Oh, if it came back.
Oh, totally. I'd go down.
I used to be a big Bartles and James fan.
I would enjoy a couple wine coolers. You know, it was like sometimes better than beer because I'm. To truth be told, I'm not a beer guy.
My memory of Bartles.
So,
sorry.
Well, just drinking something that's more of like an alcohol mixed with something. I don't know. That's more my speed, I guess, because I always end up with a headache with beer.
With beer?
Yeah. So I feel like Charlie Brown with Lucy because people are always trying to be Lucy, like, it's okay, like, you'll be all right. You know, and I'm like, I'll try this beer. And then an hour later, I'm like, oh, stupid headache. So
is that why there was so much beer left after the get-together here in Raleigh? You weren't drinking?
I wasn't drinking, yeah.
That wouldn't have happened if I'd have been there.
Well, we were expecting Nick.
Well, Colleen and I usually at Comic-Con will go to wherever we're at, like in our group thing. We'll try every beer on the list and at least we'll attempt it. She didn't get to do it last year because she was pregnant, I think.
Oh, jeez. These pregnancies are just getting in the way.
God, it's a perfect excuse for her to go, I don't want to drink. Yeah, whatever. The first one turned out okay. Damn it, what was I going to say?
Bartles and James.
Bartles and James, yeah. Like so, my memory of that because those commercials are really awesome back in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It had to be from that. I remember going to the grocery store with my granddad and getting the 4-packs. I think they came in 4-packs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I remember grabbing a 4-pack of it and being like, "Here you go. This is what I want to drink." You know, because I didn't know what it was, and it just so happened to be a Sunday. And in Tennessee, you couldn't do that at the time. And
that's right. No,
putting it up on the counter, you know, and the girl goes, "Oh, we can't sell this to you." And he's like, "Why not?" You know, and she's like, "Well, we can't sell it today." And he's like, this is what my grandson wants. You know, like, I just remember him getting so mad because they wouldn't sell it to him. And she's like, "Sir, this is an alcoholic drink." And he, "Oh."
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's why they have those in place, those blue laws.
Yeah.
To stop grandpas from getting their grandsons drunk.
Yeah, instead just give them the moonshine.
Yeah.
Get them drunk a lot faster.
Oh, I got some of that, homeboy.
You just need a sip of it.
Yeah. We used to Del and I were on the same adult baseball team, and our team would come over to his apartment afterwards. We go to his jacuzzi, and they had a pool and all this stuff. And we'd be drinking Bartles and James and whatever, and we'd be so drunk and obnoxious. And the security guy would come over and try to get us out of there, but it was. I feel bad now thinking back. just go away, but I mean, he was just trying to do his job, and here I am. Here we are, this 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 21-year-old punk kids.
Yeah,
yeah. It just it was. I mean, it wasn't just us; it was everybody in the apartment complex having a good time. But this poor guy just trying to do his job and us chasing him away. Not me, of course. It was the rest of the people.
You just had your candy necklace.
Yeah, I was shooting him with it.
The first apartment I moved into was a bit rough. I was actually mugged in that apartment building. I don't know why.
I remember that. I remember that story.
Yeah. Well, we also I don't know if I'd mentioned this, but at the same place, I had this door-to-door guy that just was selling weed.
Door-to-door?
Yeah, like he just knocked on my door.
Avon's here.
Yeah. And in that neighborhood, you don't open up the door too far, and he's doing that thing where he's trying to look around me to see if anybody else is there.
Hey, man, you want some Altoids?
And he's like, "You want to buy any joints?" At first, it was like, "Is John there?" And I'm like, "Come on, dude! Like, this is your first time. Is this your first time knocking on people's doors randomly selling weed?"
How does so? It's I guess it's in a neighborhood that people the cops aren't going to do anything.
Yeah. It was. I love the memories from that apartment.
The life and death memories.
Glad I had them. Glad I don't live there anymore. The cockroaches. Yeah, I know. But hey, it was cheap. It was cheap rent and moving out of my parents' house. It seemed.
I think we all have those. Like the place I lived for 6 years was right on the edge of University of Tennessee's campus. It's torn down now, but there's old cinder block apartments that were built in the 50s. And I remember that, like, I always kept everything off the floor for that reason of just cockroaches. And then you'd have some girl, stay with you, and she'd just drop all of her clothes on the floor and leave them there. And I'd be like, you don't want to do that. And she's like, why not?
They'll crawl away.
Oh, yeah, because like, as soon as you turn the lights on in the morning and they picked up the dress, there'd be like 2 or 3 underneath them, the clothes, and you're just like, ah! You do get. It's funny. You do get used to them because I know Cindy and I, our first apartment, didn't have a lot of money, so we lived in a place in El Cajon, California. And funny, one day we're sitting by the pool. I said, you know what? I think we're the only ones at work. I think everybody else is like a drug dealer or something, kind of like Matt's place. And because no one ever, you'd ask, what do you mean work? I go, oh, like a job? And they'd be like, no. But it was so bad. We kept having our place bombed for bugs. I go, we just have these cockroaches. Got to the point you take the glass out, there'd be a cockroach, and you throw it down the garbage disposal, clean the glass, and that was it. You just didn't think anything about it. Well, we saw the house below us. One night, she's screaming. This woman was like 6'3", and her boyfriend was smaller than me. And he goes, all we hear is, it's going to kill me. They threw a chair through the window. There's there's stuff going on. I'm like, told Cindy, I go, you guys stay in here. I kind of went downstairs, but there was so much crap going on. The cops came. Well, we saw the house, but the apartment below us was like a hoarder's house.
Oh,
well, no wonder I go, because we had the thing. They go, look, we can't keep bombing your place. I go,
right.
But these cockroaches, where are they coming from? Well, you see how they were living. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like you're talking, Nick. It was just full of cockroaches, and so we couldn't get rid of them until they moved out, and well, it got a little better.
It always freaks me out, though. Like, I'm sure people who live in New York or any other major city can sympathize, but like every now and then, like late at night, I'll be walking down the streets and you think you see something out of the corner of your eye and you're like, oh, look, there's a cat over there. And then you actually look and it's just a huge freaking rat. And you're like, oh my God. I mean, that's something that still scares the crap out of me when you see her. Because you're thinking like a mouse or something, just really small. But no, they're huge.
Yeah, Cindy and I saw one when we were walking in. One night we were walking in Washington down to the Capitol. We saw this huge rat. And she goes, oh my God, huge rat. I go, I voted for that one. No, seriously, there was like huge rats all over around the I'm like going, should there be rats around the Capitol? I mean, I guess there are, but but like you're saying, big cities, they have those big giant. They do. They look like cats. You're like, oh, that's gross. And I go, well, if the search's not on your leg, let me know and I'll kick it. And
well, Vice News, I think Thursday or Friday's episode, they were showing that in New York, like how bad it's gotten, the rat infestation. And they were actually filming a guy that was asleep on the subway and one was crawling on him.
Ooh.
And he woke up, was like, what the heck? And it's just like,
well, have we all been in New York City?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't, not since I was 10. But
they just pile their trash everywhere. I mean, they literally, you go by anywhere in some business that there's just piles of trash.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in bags, but
yeah, I always recommend, visiting New York City, like, in the spring or the fall, not in a hot
summer.
Yeah. Cause I have, and, if it's trash day, it is not great. It's like just trash day in general in the hot sun. Oh my gosh.
But it doesn't phase. I guess you're used to it. It doesn't phase. But my thing is, I go, God, look at these piles of trash. You're walking down the street, you see trash, but I don't know. I guess it has to go somewhere.
Oh yeah, like usually it's in the Midwest or the South, because I know for a few years they did that. It's like someone who, like, let's say Matt owns 100 acres of land and he's not using it. He could easily say, like, okay, like 2 or 3 acres of it, I'll just decide to make it a landfill, and he'll make $2 or $3 million. One, he'll sell the dirt, and
Way to go, Matt.
and then someone.
I know you're really selling me on this idea.
Yeah, no, but it happened because it happened in my home county. Like somebody did that. They were like, oh, like, and they leased acres of their land to be a landfill for New York City trash, and all of a sudden you see these huge trucks coming down just full of trash, and they're dumping it there, and then they cover it back up, and that's it. And that's
wasn't it China that said they're not going to take any more trash from the U.S. because they have no more room for the trash.
Right. And well, something also like because they tend to take our trash and use the recyclables for it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It is a big market for them to do that. But yeah, they're trying to lower their carbon footprint like everybody else. And so they don't want to take any more of our trash.
Well, straws, people. Yeah. Apparently straws are a big problem.
I got a paper straw right there.
Well, that's what it's funny. Like I look at that. I know I'm sure you've seen them too, Matt, like the metal straw thing and all that. And it's like every one I've seen, I was like, that is just a cesspool for bacteria. You know, like this case that they're carrying them in. I was like,
well, I get it, but it just then you start thinking, okay, yeah, we outlaw the plastic straw. What about the people that make plastic straws?
Well, I mean, they can make something else.
They need to move on to.
Usually, if you're a manufacturer of plastic, you make a number of other products.
Yeah, maybe you can make Planters cheese balls.
Exactly, make everyone happy.
They have ways of doing other things with plastic, I'm sure. So
plastics.
Well, I think they're trying to get rid of. Aren't they just trying to get rid of all plastic?
We're trying to reduce the amount of plastic.
You have the plastic water bottles. You have the plastic.
Oh yeah, that's the word.
I mean, I've seen the pictures of where you have people that are like pro green parade that marches and stuff, and then afterwards there's just plastic water bottles everywhere.
Oh sure, yeah. Well, I mean, it's like in California too, visiting the lovely city that that I did. It's like, oh yeah, like just the piles that just people don't necessarily always recycle. So
well, it is interesting though. Like I was talking about this with someone the other day actually about how you inherit so much crap from all your older family members over the years, and like I know like my mom, she has like a whole cabinet full of old china that will never be used. It's just stuff that her great grandmother had.
It's old china. You have to save it.
You have to save it and display it for some reason. But then like our generation doesn't have any of that stuff. Like I don't care. Like I literally have 4 or 5 really good plastic cups that I just reuse constantly.
What's the queen gonna do when she comes to visit, dude?
Yeah, exactly.
Like when you are,
the good stuff.
You're pretty much an ambassador out there.
I am.
Is the queen coming to LA?
Yeah, she's gonna come get on the Queen Mary. Yeah, check it out.
She's getting up there.
She is. Like, can you imagine being?
Is Charles making her come over?
That's right. Can you imagine being Charles? Though? Like, he has been Prince for so long, and like some days you just kind of go, "I love you, Mom, but I want to be king. Damn it!"
Well, he's almost 70, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, she's like a Ginsburg. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, like she's just gonna keep going, and
I guess
Richards and David Crosby and everyone else, like they doesn't matter what they do, they're just gonna keep living.
Well, Cindy said that she read that she's very big on that when she's serving her country or doing her, and that's her. She's not going to give it up until he's going to have to just push her down the stairs or something to get her out of there because she's not giving up.
Well, maybe he's okay with that. Maybe he's just come to terms with that.
I don't know. You're this close to being king.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you remember for now? Being a jerk to Diana, all right?
Yeah. Sure.
When you think of Prince Charles, okay, you were the ass to Princess Diana. But everybody liked Princess Diana, and nobody likes you.
But he doesn't have to. I mean, he's, whatever. He's set for life. He doesn't have to.
Exactly. I know it's set for life. They don't set policy, so
it's kind of when you listen to like any of them make political comments, you kind of have to take them with a grain of salt because they're set for life. Like they don't have to see or live through any of the struggles that anyone else has to.
Well, I get that.
Bred into it.
But if you've lived your life and it's a fishbowl, and he had a rough, he was picked on a lot growing up because who he was. All right, you've suffered through all that, and you're this close to being king. It's just for a day. Hey, but nope, Mom won't go.
But still, he hasn't really had to lift a finger to do much.
No,
it's not like we're talking about the greatest of all time here, As
No,
far
I
as, like,
I don't feel
sports.
bad. I don't feel bad for him. I'm just saying, if I was him,
Yeah, you would have planned the random piano falling thing.
exactly. You know,
So, oh yeah, you should take that Bon Voyage voyage.
Yeah.
On the Titanic.
Titanic. Yeah,
Careful of that coffin, Jack.
I know. I'm thinking about it. But speaking of England, I had this written down last week, but we never got to it. Have you guys seen the Paul McCartney?
Oh yeah,
I'm drawing up.
Gordon.
The what's it called? Karaoke and
car karaoke.
Is that just the most fantastic thing you ever seen?
I mean, Paul's always been a good sport with the stuff like that, which is good. He's not like a grumpy old fart like a lot of people.
If you're in a bad mood,
yeah,
it's like 22 minutes long, 23 minutes long. Watch it.
Well,
Don't smile.
It's not only that. It's. I love watching all the people's reactions, like their faces.
That's what I was going to say. It's just, oh my God, Paul McCartney's coming in.
Yeah,
Paul McCartney, and then when they play the concert in the pub, and then you're like going, how cool would it have been? Just you're sitting there in a pub having a beer, and this curtain opened up. There's Paul McCartney.
Mm-hmm.
It just.
I mean, think about because if you actually look at a Google Street View of Penny Lane, it's really not a big street. It's mostly residential houses. There's only like a little small section where the barbershops and the little stores are.
Yeah.
And that older lady's expression, like when Paul McCartney just walks into the barbershop, she's like, "Oh my God," you know?
Yeah.
Like,
it was, and he's one of those guys. If you met in real life, and he was a jerk, you'd be like, oh.
Well, you know what Jay would say.
Oh, Jay would say he's an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did do that. Like, who was it? It was some artist.
It was
Jay
Lennon.
and I. No. Jay and I, when Jay still did the podcast, were talking about some other musician. It was another famous musician like Phil Collins or somebody, or Sting or something like that. Someone that was only like a decade behind Paul McCartney.
I think it was Phil Collins.
Could have been Phil Collins.
It might have been Sting too.
It's one of those kind of guys though that was like very late 70s, early 80s artists, that either asked for a picture or an autograph of Paul McCartney, and he looked at Linda and said like, "Oh, look at Phil, he's a fan," and it's kind of like, you're a dick.
But he's just one of those guys, like Tom Hanks. It'd be like if you met Tom Hanks and Tom Hanks like, just get away from me. I'd be like,
well, I mean, I think there's also that point too in which fans either read the room and they understand, or they don't. So I had learned while I was out in California that my friend had seen Robin Williams shopping, with his wife one day. Like not Robin Williams' wife, but my best friend and his wife were basically shopping, and they saw Robin Williams, and she had made eye contact with him, but it was also that like, please don't approach me, kind of like, and she just kind of was like, let him be,
you got to give them their space.
Yeah. I think they were at Amoeba Records actually. So, yeah. So, it's neat that the bridge, there's a tunnel actually that they named for Robin Williams. And
I did that with Martin. I think I said this a couple weeks ago. Martin Short, he was there watching his kid play hockey, and I went, I'm not going to bug him. So I didn't.
I've done that with a few, who was it the last time I did that with? Oh, I remember talking about that girl that some actresses and actors, I was kind of like, I just want to acknowledge who they are, but you still talk to them like, oh, like, hey, cool shirt, Matt, like if I was talking to you or whatever, like, or whatever, and you just don't ever bring up that part of their lives, just be a normal person with them. And then
we did that in an elevator, on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Phil, the guy that played the dad.
Oh yeah.
He came walking in the elevator when we were in there. And it's me and my wife, and I think my daughters, and somewhere in Virginia. And he's just talking to us. We're just talking to him. We knew exactly who he was, but we didn't go, oh, my God. We just kind of played it cool. And
yeah.
Oh, my God.
Plus, he was a big guy, and I didn't want to get him mad.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But he was laughing, having a good time. And
yeah, I mean, that's something I really have noticed from living out here is, because any celebrity that comes to anywhere other than New York or LA, it's usually a big deal. Like if someone said, like, Paul McCartney's going to be in Raleigh tomorrow, and he'll be signing books at Borders or whatever, Barnes & Noble. People will be like, oh, my God, Paul McCartney, blah, blah, blah. You know, even if they saw him. They're like, but there's so many famous people out here that you see that you just kind of go, oh, look, there's Jay Glatfelter. Cool.
Yeah. I hear he's a jerk.
Yeah.
I had once, I don't know if you guys remember Celebrity Fit Club. Have you ever watched that? Comedian Ant was the host. It was when they'd have these celebrities that needed to get back in shape, and they'd have content. Anyway, Cindy and I were on a staycation here for an anniversary or something, and the guy Ant, who's a comedian but also the host of the show, walks in with someone else, and they had all these Girl Scout cookies. So I'm sitting there, I look at him, and I kind of look at him. I recognize him right away. I go, so is that what you give the celebrities when they get a little cranky? He kind of looked at me like, and just got off. I turned to Cindy and go, I thought it was funny. But,
yeah,
I guess not.
I can imagine you saying that to Cindy too. So,
but
she always goes, "You're such a dork." I go, "Well, he hosts his show where people are restricted on what they can eat, and he's got a bunch of Girl Scout like 20 boxes that they put together, like 20 boxes of Girl Scout cookies. Who carries that many Girl Scout cookies?
Girl Scouts.
I'm starving.
Anyway, if you haven't seen that, it's fantastic. It's amazing. That video, that carpool karaoke, it's just amazing.
So I don't know if you guys, like I have like a list of things that I was going to talk about last week, and then additions for this week. So like one of the stories I was going to tell, just kind of feeling like a celebrity. So another podcast I listened to is called the Half Hour Happy Hour with 3 C-list actors here in LA, and they used to do a half hour. And
C-list?
Yeah. You know, you wouldn't know them if you saw them, but you're like, oh, but they're extras or they're like side characters. And
they can he make the B-list?
No, they're not the B. They're C-list actors.
All
I mean, they're great. It's a good podcast, though. If anyone want to listen to it. But they had their 200th episode a couple weeks ago, and they invited anyone that lived in LA to come attend a live airing, and they wanted to have it at the Scum and Villainy Cantina in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
What?
It's called the Scum and Villainy Cantina in Hollywood. And inside, it looks exactly like the cantina from Episode 4, New Hope, Star Wars.
Oh.
And so, yeah. And so they said, and so the episode prior to this, they said, if anyone, can dress up, do it, because we are. And so I was like, okay, so I'll go find something. So I found a very nice old bin.
It looked great.
Yeah.
Were you the only one dressed up?
No, there was one other person dressed up, but they dressed up, so I wasn't. Okay. I didn't feel too goofy. I mean, one guy came in, and he had a BB-8, like a mechanical, fully functioning BB-8. Yeah, he was a show off for sure.
Jerk.
Yeah. Whatever. I'm a Jedi. You have a droid. So I went to. That's another good thing about living in LA. There's always great costume places. So I grew up to Glendale and got.
They call that the Gap, don't they?
Yeah, pretty much. So I went and got an old Ben costume and then rented it and put it on. And of course, you feel like a goober, because I'm in the middle of downtown LA. I walk out, and no one looks at me, no one acknowledges me. I feel like the biggest jackass.
But you're in LA, and nobody pays attention to anybody anyway.
Exactly. So, but that's what I mean. It felt normal. Like I walked out downtown LA.
You could walk down naked, and no one's going to pay attention to you,
especially downtown, because you're so close to Skid Row that everyone else knows you're on.
I think they'd notice you less if you were naked. They'd notice you more with the Obi-Wan outfit.
Yeah. So no one noticed me. No one said a word to me the entire time I'm walking in downtown LA. Get on the subway. No one says anything. No one looks at me. No one nothing.
No rats crawling on you?
Nothing, yeah. The minute I get out of the subway in Hollywood, which is where this place is, it's literally 1 block from the Chinese Theater, every tourist, oh my God, look, it's a Jedi! Yo, like, honey, get your photo with him. I'm like, $5. And so, all the kids are like, oh my God, you're a Jedi. I'm like, yeah. And then you're walking. And
did you charge them?
No, of course not. I should have. I could have, because that's what's funny.
Aren't you an American?
You could have totally said, like, look, normally I don't do this. I was in episode 2 when all the lightsabers go up. I was the guy in the top left corner.
Actually, what I said was I was the little kid in episode 3 that Anakin like lights the lightsaber. Master Skywalker, what shall we do? I was that kid, you know.
He grew up fast.
He grew up really fast, you know, since 2005.
Yeah.
Got old.
But
so what was funny to me was it wasn't that. I mean, I was flattered that people bought the costume enough to where they actually believed I looked like a Jedi and wanted my photo with it. What I laughed the most is that there are tons of people dressed up, and that's what they do for their living. They go out dressed as character every day, and they make money off of that.
Kind of like in Times Square in New York.
Right, yeah. And I had people like I remember the one I remember in particular. There's 2 really funny stories. Like Captain America walked right by me, and he gave me like the head nod of like acknowledgement. I was like, like, hey man. And I was going, I want to go. I'm not one of you.
I'm not the character actor you think I am.
Yeah, exactly.
So are these like D-list actors, E-list actors?
I have no idea who does.
They're probably out. They came out there to become actors.
That's probably
chasing
true.
A dream, and this instead of being a waiter, so not criticizing it, but you're out there chasing a dream. You have to survive. So
yeah, sure,
it's true. Because I've seen many of them, the same people over and over. They're always there, and that's probably what they're doing. Is if they can make $20 an hour, it's probably worth it to them because it's all cash.
They may have also done Disney too, and they're just like, hey. I know some of the protocol, so I'll just.
I stole the costume. So
I stole the costume.
Well, it's like
I'm just going to throw a robe over top of Elmo now.
It's like if you go to Universal Studios here to the park, every single person that works there are actors. They are.
Right.
They're all either stuntmen or they're just background actors, and usually they will acknowledge them. Like at some point they'll say like. And this, blah, 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 this, you've seen him from X-Files, and you've seen him from this. This is Matthew, and then...
Oh, okay.
Which is...
yeah. But I thought I was supposed to applaud. I'm sorry.
But my...
you may sit down, sir. Sit down.
The funniest one, though, was that I was walking, and there was a guy dressed up as Samuel L. Jackson from Pulp Fiction. I mean, head to toe, looked exactly like him.
Swearing the whole time?
Yeah, and that's what I'm not going to say the cuss words he said to me, but he had a fake quarter pounder in his hand.
Oh,
and he looked at me and he goes,
"Wait, a fake quarter pounder was
like a rubber cheeseburger, or
it was like a dog toy,
like a dog toy, but it looked like So he had it there, and he looked at me and goes, "I can't do Samuel Jackson, so everyone out there listening, forgive me." But like he was just like, like, "Hey man, like." Do you know what they call the quarter pounder in France? I was like, the Royale with cheese. And he's like, yeah, but do you know why it's called the Royale with cheese? Like, because of the metric system. And I'm saying the lines back to him that he's wanting to say. And he's like, and then he finally goes, man, get your effing Jedi mind trick beat. Well,
you should have told him, look, we can be partners. I'll come back as John Travolta's character. What do you think? You already know the lines. You guys.
Well, actually, John Travolta didn't say those. He's saying it to another. Or was he saying it to John Travolta in the movie? I don't remember.
Yeah.
No. Travolta's telling Samuel L. Jackson.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So you could be Travolta. He could be Samuel L. Jackson.
And you just need a guy to shoot in the background.
Yeah. Exactly. I think that there's a money making. That's money.
We're just trying to give you some other side work. So
what happened how was the podcast? How was that thing?
It was great. So, I walked in and they were, the main guy was dressed as an Ewok, and I felt so sorry for him because he was head to toe fur, and he was sweating his butt off.
Oh man.
And then.
So he didn't think ahead.
No. But, of course you're drinking and podcasting, so you probably wasn't too worried about it. And then another guy's dressed as a Ghostbuster, which Jay would have liked. And then
a Ghostbuster. What does that have to do with Star Wars?
I guess they just decided to dress up in whatever they had available. Because the girl dressed up as somebody else, and I had no idea what that was. So I was like, okay.
I just imagine the Ewok looking kind of like Dan Aykroyd's character in Trading Places at the end with the beard all like full of like
with the fish.
Yeah, except in Ewok garb, like just completely tore down.
But no, it was good. Like, they were actually inside the bar part, the curved actual bar from the movie. And they just did it live right there. You know, they just talked, and everyone else was sitting around, just
Now, what do they talk about? Is this random stuff?
Yeah, it's kind of like us, but a very condensed, short version of us.
Who would want condensed milk?
You mean structured?
Yeah, they're structured. Yeah, because they talk a few minutes of just whatever, and then they usually have a few internet stories, and then they get into like emails from people, and then but they keep it to 40 minutes every time, which we could never do.
No,
ever.
No. We spend 40 minutes talking before we record.
Exactly.
It's Matt's fault.
Can you imagine if we actually broke up all of our podcasts into 40 minutes? We could tap it out within like a month. You know,
I think so.
A whole year worth of podcast.
Exactly.
Not like I've suggested that.
But then we get so much hate mail, but we wouldn't read it because Jack can't read emails.
No, I can read the emails. I can't play the calls. That's the problem.
People rely on us for their commutes to work. You know.
Apparently, we were.
Jessica said 21 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, she just listened to it multiple times.
Yeah, I just put it on a loop.
Yep. So,
anyway.
Well, I don't suppose anything that this other podcast does is anything similar to a versus.
Well, do you want to go and do that? I have other stories.
Oh. Well, never mind.
No, I mean we can do the verses.
Well, I was.
What minutes are we at? We probably should go ahead and go to the verses.
I think we've been in like an hour, a little over an hour.
Okay.
Well, if you got more stories, Nick.
I was going to
be far from me to stop.
I was going to talk about the show Successions.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Okay.
Have you watched it yet, Matt?
No, those shows Succession. Is this the next Netflix show that we have to watch?
No, this is an HBO show.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about the Netflix with Chris here next week.
I believe we discussed it the episode you were absent a few weeks ago.
They talked me. Both Chris and Nick watch it, loved it, and they talked me into watching it.
Yeah. So Matt, to give you a little background, and I'll let Jack give us his review. It's just one of those shows that HBO gave a go, but didn't really promote it a lot, which I thought was odd.
Mm-hmm.
And the premise is Brian Cox, who's the dad, is what you expect as an older company.
I saw a trailer for it.
Okay, yeah. So he's like the head of this company, and he has a stroke in episode 1, and he has four kids, and it's all about who is going to control this empire. And it's exactly what you expect it to be.
He's like Jay made a good point, like Roger Murdoch.
Yeah.
Right, Fox Empire, whatever. Am I saying
Rupert?
Whoever it is, Rupert Murdoch. I'm sorry.
But yeah, and it's exactly what you think it would be. Just like the struggle.
I was following you, Jack. I was like, okay, so that makes sense. It's logical.
I knew that wasn't right, but I got half of it right. So,
but spoiled kids and they're awful people, but they're also human beings, and so it's an interesting character study of, in my opinion, of just that dilemma.
Well, you guys had explained to me that every time you think someone's a good person, they turn out to be a bad person because they do bad things. And I just finished. Did you watch the episode last night?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. I love the show, but man, it can be depressing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's like I'm glad my family's not that way.
Mm-hmm. Well, especially with like Brian Cox, because he's had a stroke. And you want him to get better, but then you're like, you're such an awful person. I'm not sure if I want you to get better.
But is he faking it?
Yeah, you don't.
He only seems to be doing it when those people, his sons and daughter are around. Mm-hmm. I mean, he slapped his grandson yesterday.
He didn't slap him. I think he hit him with a can.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a depressing show, but it's so fascinating too. Mm-hmm. I don't want to spoil anyone. I would recommend it, but if you're into there's some comedy. The cousin, he's kind of goofy, but he's actually he's smarter than we think. He's the one that you guys were talking about threw up in the costume.
Cousin? Yeah, the cousin's awesome.
Yeah, I like him a lot, and the guy that was on Ripper Street. What's his name? Is it Tom?
Yeah, the main son.
No, he's not the son. He's dating the.
Right.
Is it Tom?
Yeah,
he's such a phony slime ball.
Yeah.
But
well, he's spineless. He's spineless in front of the family, but yet he is this fake, macho guy in front of the cousin. You're like, wow.
I highly recommend it. It's a good watch, but don't watch it going. I mean, there's funny scene. There are funny scenes because they do some they do some off the wall stuff, kind of. Well, not off the wall stuff, but it just. You have to watch it to understand, but the part that bothered me the most is when they were playing the softball game, and they offered the kid the $1 million.
Yeah, that's the scene that I actually pointed out to Boston, and Boston agreed. Is that's the only scene, because I've liked it since then, but that was the only scene that I felt was not directed properly, because I felt in the screenplay it was meant to be a much more weighted scene of showing how. They really just don't care about anybody but themselves.
Right.
And then you see that because he offers the kid $1 million. The kid doesn't do it, and you're like, who does that? Who offers someone who's poor $1 million and then doesn't give them anything?
And then rips a check up in front of him.
Yeah, rips right in front of him. And then to build upon that, you see the lawyer come over and say, yes, can you sign a non-disclosure agreement that this never happened? I was like, that should have been so much more dramatic.
Yeah, it was kind of rushed. I do. Yeah, I agree with you. But I think he did it to show his father that he could be ruthless. I mean, that's the only reason I go, why would he do that? Because up until that point, you like this character.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of joking around. He's kind of off the wall, and then after that, you're like, and now he is off the wall, but he's an ass too.
But then, like in this episode Sunday, where they're going around the table on Thanksgiving, Matt, and they're saying what they're thankful for, that same character's girlfriend's like she's being passive aggressive, saying like I'm thankful that he's never cheated on me and he's never mean to me and he's never this and then he's like you're welcome, and in that situation, I could totally see me doing that same thing. It's like, yeah, you better believe I've probably been a jerk, but I don't want people calling me out on the table for it either. And I could be like, yeah, you're welcome. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it was funny, but it's not for not for everybody, but I would recommend it.
Yeah.
I give it 4 thumbs up.
Yeah, I like it. We'll see where it goes.
That's it. And what else you got, Nick?
Oh, okay. So I have Jurassic Park review. I have an Odin theory for which I thought was interesting. And I recently bought a new camping tent. Which 3 would you like to discuss?
I thought you just recently bought a camping tent.
I did. Okay, so we'll get into the camping tent. So I have a really good camping tent that I bought for long-term camping, for things like that, and I like it. It's a good tent. But I also am someone who likes to be prepared. So I saw one of those
end of the world type stuff.
No. Just like if I'm in my truck and something happens, I want to have like at least a little crappy tent and something just to throw out on the ground.
You do live in
Yeah,
so if
I'm prepping to join the Skid Row crowd.
So if your truck breaks down on the 405,
yeah, I can
just
pop pitch a tent. I can
on the shoulder.
Yeah, and then just go.
Well, if there's like a major earthquake and then you're like cut off, like half of California falls, and then you're like, oh,
well, they're splitting it up to 3 pieces anyway.
No, because I have a big truck, so I always have like a section in the Avalanche. There's a side compartments on the back part of the truck, and I have first aid kits, extra pair of tennis shoes, like things like that, just in case I need them. And so I was like, oh, here's a cheap tent that looks pretty interesting.
Can I ask you the shoes? So if someone steals your shoes, you got an extra pair of shoes.
No, it's like I think of it this way: like if I'm out hiking and I get a blister, or if my shoes get wet, or if I get stuck.
Okay, all right. I thought you were just like driving back and forth.
No. Like think about how many times, like me anyway, like how many times have you been hiking and like you get your foot stuck in mud or something like that? It's like, oh, I need another pair of shoes, so I have them in there just for that case.
I got my arm stuck in a crevice one time, and I had to cut it off.
Your arm?
Yeah, with my own pocket knife, I had to cut it off. They did a movie about it.
Mhm.
I can't wait.
It took like 127 hours until I decided to cut that arm off.
I'm waiting for the 120 seconds or 9 minutes.
I love story with Jackgate.
I'm waiting for the recreation of the event between you and Cindy and us trapped. I'm looking forward to who you guys choose.
I think I bled more than James Franco did. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I know that you would get you'd probably get Magnum PI, Tom Selleck, to play you. So I assume Jack. But who would you cast to play Chris, Nick, and myself?
I wish I could have planned for this. I don't know. Let's see. Tom Selleck, he's like 70 though. He still looks better than me. I'm just. I think if you're going to do a recreation, it has to be Tom Hanks to play me. That's what he does. Plays that's all he does now, right?
Okay, I'm following you. Tom Hanks plays you.
Tom Hanks plays me. Yeah, Chris. I don't know the actor's name. Let's see.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Don't use those straws.
Guys, I think Jack just died. That's the thing. It's like whoever you get to play Chris has to deliver that line.
It does.
Like very powerful. Like,
Chris Pratt could play Chris, right?
That'd be good.
Yeah, he's kind of got that kind of, and he would deliver the line in a comic type thing.
Yeah,
Nick would have to be someone serious, right?
Someone serious.
Why so serious?
Yeah, and can really pull off that southern draw.
What's a redheaded actor?
I'm not redheaded. Well,
you got kind of an Irish looking actor. Who would be an Irish looking?
I was thinking, you could get Andrew Lincoln to play Nick because he can pull off that southern kind of draw. Even though he's from England.
Really. He's English who opens his throat, so it's like, Carl, you gotta go get the guns, Carl. That's a great southern accent.
All right, we'll do Andrew Lincoln. I like that. Andrew Lincoln for Nick.
I know.
I don't know. Maybe Bill Cosby for you. I don't know.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. Well, look at Jack. He just fell down and cut his head. Maybe need some Jello pudding.
That's fine if you want Bill Cosby to play me.
I'm just kidding. How about Woody Harrelson for you?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Woody Harrelson. That works?
He's a little bit older than me, but he does hail from Indiana, so that works.
He could wear a wig and kind of, yeah. He's got that. Yeah. He's got that. So there we go. And then Cindy, I'll give Cindy someone who's a hysterical actor. Crazy.
A crazy hysterical actress.
Who's that one that just won the Academy Award?
Meryl Streep?
No. No, not Jennifer Lawrence. She for billboards or
shoot. Frances
McDermott.
Oh yeah, that would be a good dynamic too of Tom Hanks and Frances McDermott, seeing that go down. I'd really like to see her scream,
pull it off.
Yeah. I was thinking Kate Beckinsale, but probably wouldn't. Probably couldn't get her. Probably not the right part for her.
Right? Yeah, and just sure. I think that's a solid.
You know what? She could be one of the nurses.
Yeah, there has to be a whole post scene with.
Yeah, Mm-hmm. So she could be the nurse. There we go.
Yep. And it's great too that Tom Hanks, you could actually incorporate Colin Hanks to play Jay. So
he does have that. He could do that Jay hair, right?
Yeah. I think that works.
All right. So that's nice.
So if I think if patrons want to make this dream team happen, we need
to boost up the patrons level.
We need to chip in hard, not just to make this recreation happen that I would love to see.
Who's going to direct it?
Ooh, oh, that's a good one too.
I mean, you guys are down on Ron Howard, so we couldn't get Ron Howard.
I'm not down on Ron Howard. I loved what he did with Solo.
Okay,
so Nick just gave me side eye, though, which is much worse than side boob. So,
to finish my tent story. So,
we still haven't picked out a director, dude.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay.
You finish the tent. You finish the tent. We'll get the director.
Okay. Yeah.
You guys be thinking about directors you want.
Okay.
So, it was one of those things you see on Facebook or Instagram or whatnot. Like, oh, buy this tent for $50 or $60. I was like, oh, that'd be good. Just like a quick little throw out tent, and you're good to go. And it had collapsible poles. Like the poles are in the way it was advertised that the poles are already in the tent. You just have to like do it and lock them in place, and you're good to go. Like a quick, easy tent. I was like, oh, that seems pretty nice. I'll get that. So I get it in the mail today. It is not anything like I ordered.
Oh,
it's got ripped off.
I got ripped off. Yeah, it's one of those. I'm sure they probably just sent me the wrong one, or I got ripped off. But it's one of those. It's one of the pop-up tents that it was nothing like it. So it came in a circle. I was like, "What the heck is this thing?" And as soon as you pull out of the bag, it just it blows up the tents out. And I have never ever had a tent like that before. So it took me a good hour before we started podcasting that to put it back in the bag. Because you have to like connect.
So it's not a tent you could use.
It is a tent you could use, but it'd be something that after probably 3 uses, it would just go to crap. It's a perfect tent to give to your nephews.
Well, how many times are you gonna get stranded?
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean this seems like a kind of a stranded kind of tent. I mean, what a life of legacy
have the
while you're
respect.
stranded?
I need the respect of the Skid Row crowd because they
have nice tents.
They have some nice tents, man. Like the first time I ever drove in downtown LA, I called my friend who lived down here and I said, "Is there a movie premiering down here or like a store?" Because
it's a reenactment of our movie.
It was exactly. It's the story of Jack, Simple Jack. Because the tents were just literally side by side, and so I'm already thinking like the opening of Star Wars, where you see so many famous films of newsreels of people camping out for Star Wars. I'm like, is it a movie theater or a store selling something? And she's like, no, you're driving through Skid Row. I was like, oh.
The video game they're waiting for is called Running Man.
Yeah.
Real life.
So you're sending you're going to send the tent back?
I don't know. I doubt it. I'm just going to keep it because it didn't cost a lot anyway. But the thing is that it's one of those that has 2 rods that once it's in a circle, and then once you let it out, it blows up. And I had never had a tent like that before, so I had to figure it out because it came with no instructions. I had to figure out how to bend these poles again to make it to a circle again in order to fit it back in this bag, and that took me forever. So
you're like the old-fashioned tents where you get the stakes out, you have the center pole.
Oh wow! You talking about you don't see center poles much anymore.
Well, I'm just saying I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what kind of tent you like that makes the Nick.
Oh well, like the
Nick happy.
The expense actually you'll get a kick out of it. The expensive tent that I have is the exact tent that's in Lost in Space.
Really?
Yeah, the one in episode 1, the tent that they have is the exact same one I have.
So you're okay in the cold.
Well, yeah, it's a great tent. It's called Hemi Planet, HEMI Planet, and it's airframe. It's an airframe tent, so you have no stakes, no poles. It's all just assembled, and you throw it out, and then it comes with an air pump, and you just pump it up. Within probably a minute, it's completely firm, standing up.
Which tent keeps out bears?
That would be no tents.
So what do you do when a bear comes up to your tent?
You roll into the fetal position and prepare to be food.
So
there's nothing what about the spray? Don't they have that spray?
Bear spray, but you got to get away too. It's not going to completely. It's not like it's mace.
Bears.
So
they have lots of bears down in San Diego.
Well, they have coyotes. I mean, I don't.
I'm kidding.
And birds.
And birds.
Well, I'm saying if you're I always watch Dan camping everywhere. I always think, I go, okay, he's got these flimsy tents. What happens if a bear comes knocking?
Well, usually you know when you're in bear country, and there's things that you do to prepare for bears.
All right, okay.
There was a good story. Where was that? Oh, it was in North Dakota, North Carolina. Just outside of
Henderson.
Yeah, Henderson. Yeah, did you see that?
I saw it. He ate the donuts.
The donuts. Whoever in the newscaster was that I saw it this morning said, and there were bear claws inside the donut box. It was so good.
I go, wait, where's Henderson, North Carolina? Henderson, I think it's Hendersonville, North Carolina. Yeah. So I looked it up. It's in the north. It's in the mountains area. Mm-hmm. So don't leave your donuts out because bears like donuts.
Oh yeah.
So if you're camping, just keep the donuts away. Well, because was it last guy I was reading a story? Was it this week? Last week? Some guy got killed by a bear. So they were actually looking for him, and when they were out looking for him, another person got attacked by this. Didn't get killed, but got attacked by the same bear.
Wow.
Oh wow. Hmm.
So I'm just thinking, if I go to Alaska, I need a tent that's going to keep bears out.
There was a documentary that came out 13 years ago called Grizzly Man. Did you ever watch that?
I don't think so. I saw the movie Grizzly.
Yeah,
it's in the 70s.
This was a self-shot documentary by this guy who was a failed actor.
I thought it was a mockumentary.
No, it was a real, because the guy died. It was a real thing. So he was the same age as Woody Harrelson because he auditioned for the same role as Woody Harrelson did in Cheers, and he was the second runner-up to Woody Harrelson. It was between him and Woody Harrelson.
The guy that dies.
And then he did a few other things, and he just never made it. He was just one of those actors that never made it. And so I don't remember because it's been 13 years since I've seen it. But he basically, from that point on, just said, I'm going to go live, a hippie lifestyle. And so every year from I forget what months it was, he'd go up to Kodiak Island in Alaska and just watch grizzly bears in awe of them. And this is actually very dangerous to do.
It does sound like it'd be dangerous.
Yeah. But it's because people don't want grizzly bears thinking it's okay for grizzly bears to approach human beings. And so if grizzly bears think human beings are okay, if you're not wanting them around you, they will come towards you, and then you don't know what'll happen. And this is what happened with this guy, is that he'd been going up there for like 17 years. And then when he actually dies, this grizzly bear that he had been friends with this entire time has become an old bear at this point, and it couldn't find food for itself. So it just said, "Hey, I know you. I'll just kill and eat you." And that's like how it ends. It's like holy crap, because it's good up until that point. And
so it's over the course of 17 years.
Yeah, because he would go up there with a camera and set it up, and he would film, hunting patterns, or how they would get fish, or how they do that, because he loved these bears. And then that's what happens. He brings his girlfriend up his last year, and you don't see it. You just hear the audio, I think, of what happens to him. But yeah, basically, he was playing around with the bear, and it just killed him.
And his girlfriend too, right?
And his girlfriend too, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
She couldn't run away?
I mean, you don't really know what happened, because it's one of the things that they didn't want the people to know, because it's probably just too horrific.
Yeah. It's like how the patrons are never going to see your fall.
They've heard it, but they won't see it.
They've heard a shot-by-shot description of it, who would play us in the movie version. And
so did you guys think of a director?
What's Francis Ford Coppola's daughter's name?
Sophia Coppola.
Sophia Coppola. Let's go with her.
Oh yeah, I think it'd be kind of artfully done. Nick,
it would be.
Yeah, Nick, this is not yours to direct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're only an actor.
Okay. It's true.
Hey, we're gonna get some cool modern, music put to a whole.
There you go.
I think Wes Anderson would do a better job.
Oh, it would be way too tidy and anal. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we get lots of little steady cam shots, pan.
Oh, I would love it. I love me some Wes Anderson. But...
Who's going to do the music? I guess we.
Well, either one of those directors.
Be...
you can come up with some retro songs in there. Some one-hit wonders.
Giacchino.
You can go Giacchino.
Go Giacchino. Like, I mean, you can have it hitting, You have metal hitting, like he'd have all the nails hitting metal sheets of tin, and like.
Oh yeah.
Come up with some pretty cool sounds.
I do like Matt's one-hit wonder segue, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just saying that, some of those directors like Wes Anderson are known to pull out some one-hit wonder gems.
They are. And it's a perfect segue into one-hit wonder gems.
There we go. The verses we had planned for last week.
Yes.
I'll minus Chris now. So.
And I think since you are a Wes Anderson film, you should know my honorable mention then. Or
I can't get into the mind of.
Come on, Nick. Woody.
So my honorable mention for West.
Well, what do you know? What if
we probably need to say what we're doing?
This might be that might be my pick.
It's not gonna be.
Oh yeah.
The odds of you knowing this song are pretty slim. But,
wow.
Well, I know.
Sorry, not to sound like a pompous ass.
He is. I'm glad you're
in
the room here. So
I'm glad you.
It's like evil genius over here.
Anyway, so who's going to go first?
Well, Nick wanted to go last.
All right, Nick can go last.
Fine.
I'll let you go first, Matt, as long as you don't pick my pick.
Okay.
I only have one.
You only have one, huh?
Yeah.
Well, it was really tough. Okay, so this is our verses.
Because there's going to be one of these verses where people go, "How did you pick that and not this?"
There's thousands of them.
There's thousands.
Seriously. Like I did my homework. I looked at lists upon lists.
To specify, we need to say these are our personal favorite one-hit wonders, not what we think is the best one-hit wonder.
Now, I have like 90 personal favorites.
Yeah,
but I went with my favorite one.
Okay. Yeah, it's really hard because there's a lot, and there's a lot of really good ones. And
again, people listening, I'm only going to, when I post it, it's only going to say Nick, Matt, Jack.
Oh, okay.
So you need to listen to the show to know who we picked.
Okay, I'm going to play the.
Or you can pick Jack because he almost died, but that's okay.
Hopefully this won't be too loud. But I was going to play the first part of this song.
Okay, you can't go more than 30 seconds.
More than 30 seconds. I'm going to watch the timer here. Okay, ready? So here we go. Maybe anybody recognize this song? Maybe a little bit. Moving forward, using all my breath. Making love to you was never second best. Okay, so just about at the 30-second mark, and this song is called "I Melt with You" by Modern English.
They're actually playing.
They're coming back, aren't they?
They're playing a free concert in like 2 weeks in downtown.
Cool. Well, when I think of one-hit wonders, and I was just visiting my best friend out in California, so we were watching classic MTV, and there were so many different ones that came on that I was just like, oh, this one or this one. And I don't want to mention any of them because I feel like it does a disservice to the other two that are going to pick after me. But this song was in the forefront of my mind.
Who was that again?
It was by Modern English.
Modern English.
Yes. And
I knew English.
I Melt with You.
I Melt with You.
It's a sweet love song. And there's been different times in my life where I've heard that song and it's meant different things for different people. But I still love the sentiment and I love how it makes me feel. So
it's a good one-hit wonder song.
Thanks. That was again. There's probably about 5 to 10 more that I could just easily rattle off.
There was. I looked when I was looking at the list. I go, I forgot about that song.
Yeah,
I forgot about that song.
Yeah,
I go, wait, that was a one-hit wonder song? Oh, I guess it was.
Even my wife and I were looking through a list of 100 one-hit wonder songs, and we were like, oh, what about this one? What about this one? And then some that we were like, we don't even know this.
I always wonder how these people can come up with one song that people go, oh my God, I love this song. How can they not come up with a second one?
It's hard.
I get it, but it just seems like there's so many one-hit wonders out there where they just get one song. Hey, I was gonna go with the Wonders, by the way.
Jimi Hendrix was a one-hit wonder.
Well, he had to have charted more than just. Are we talking about just number one exclusive?
Yeah, I'm saying because if you think about just number one,
yeah, I guess technically number one, but many of the lists that I saw were just
top 40.
Yeah, top 40 if they had charted in the top 40.
I was going to go with That Thing You Do, but I couldn't.
The Oneaters?
The Oneaters.
Yeah.
I kind of thought you might, Jack.
I seriously thought about it because technically they are one-hit wonders.
Mm-hmm.
But that was Jimmy's fault.
It was Jimmy's fault.
And another Tom Hanks movie, too.
Yeah.
I quit.
I quit, Mr. White. I quit. Jimmy just quit.
I really wish, because I remember at the time I was living in Redlands when it happened. But I really wish I would.
Jimmy quit.
No, remember, was it 3 years ago that they actually got back together?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, that'd have been so cool to be at that show where the Wonders actually came and played That Thing You Do.
I love that movie. I love it.
The top number one-hit wonder movie. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah. Well, it just got a perfect flow to it. It just there's nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it.
Good. I mean, I think Jack. I'm not sure if we talked about it on a podcast or what, but Steve Zahn, at least for as much in my memory, has never picked a bad movie. Like everything Steve Zahn is in, it's good. Well,
he's an interesting. I always want to question him on the part where in That Thing You Do, where they're talking about the with the round table with their what's his name's brother, Ron Howard's brother,
right.
the DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Did he just ad-lib that?
Mm-hmm.
One time we stayed up really late,
and then he just starts laughing. Yeah,
he said, was that just ad-lib or was that planned?
You never know. Yeah,
I don't know. There's a lot of scenes like that.
Clint Howard.
Clint Howard. There you go.
I'm not sure if I've ever
who was in Gentle Ben. Going back to Bears.
Just I'm not sure if I've ever told Matt this story. I was talking to Jeremy Bullock once, who was the guy who played Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And
stalked him.
No, it was 2007 in Knoxville. And the thing about conventions in Knoxville is that no one goes because it's a small town. And so you actually can talk to actors at these conventions for as long as you want because there's no one behind you in line. And
must be so good for the actor.
Yeah, exactly. Like anybody right there.
Yeah, they're used to it. Yeah. Hey, sir, you need to move on because I have other autographs.
Sir, I got to pee.
Yes, sir. Yeah. No, Jeremy Bullock was. It was the one thing I asked him. I was like, hey, the scene in Empire Strikes Back where Han's being tortured and Lando comes out and he kind of looks at you, then you look back at him. He's like, can you explain to me about that? And he's just like, yeah. He goes, on the script there wasn't any lines. He goes, it was just I'm standing there. He goes, and then Billy D came out and he just gave me this look. So I was like, I just felt that it was the right thing to do, just kind of look back at him and give him kind of a tilt to the head, which makes it more of a thing. And so it doesn't mean I like those
kind of like Captain America did to you.
Exactly. A nod of respect. Yeah.
We're one and the same.
Yeah.
Jedi.
But we're not.
Wait, maybe I should have Chris Evans play me. What do you think?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, about the same.
About the same age.
Yeah, same. We work out together.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I don't think he can. Well, that would be a good movie with him and Bill Cosby. That'd be a great movie.
Yeah. Harvey Weinstein produced it. And,
yeah. There's a movie that's never coming out.
Yeah. So, well. Anyway, you were saying about Gentle Ben?
Oh, Gentle Ben. What's his name? Howard. What?
Clint Howard.
Clint Howard. He was when he was a kid. He starred with Dennis Weaver in Gentle Ben. It was a kid that his friend was a bear.
Oh.
Now he said he got mauled by the bear because he's not the best looking guy in the world, but
clearly inspired.
But we were talking about bears earlier, and then you mentioned Clint Howard, and there's Clint Howard who was in Gentle Ben.
And your one-hit wonder relates to that because...
No, it's just because we were talking about bears earlier.
Big Ben.
No.
Big bad.
I don't know if I'm going to play mine on the computer. But I don't know if you can hear it. So let's hear
your song.
My song. Yeah. Let's see if it comes out. I got a commercial.
Oh, you might have to take your headphones out, or
okay.
Yeah, that's true.
So I had to do that for mine. So little.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Spirit in the Sky. You can see
yes.
it, though. I don't think anybody else is gonna be able to hear it.
Yeah, Norman Greenbaum.
I had to stop it because we're at 26 seconds. That damn commercial screwed me over. Spirit in the Sky.
It's a good one.
That is a good one. That was on my list.
The thing is that's one of those songs that you really only need to hear that riff, and you know exactly what the song is.
Norman Greenbaum.
But that riff is in so many different songs, but it's the way it's fuzzed out. Sorry.
Yeah, the fuzz. Yeah, the
Jack, go ahead. This is your song.
It's from the April 18th, originally released in 1869. It's an old one.
It was tribute to Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
1969. Single became a gold record, selling 2 million copies from 69 to 70. But it's just, I just love the song. It's just a great song, and it's in how many movies? Going back to Ron Howard and Clint Howard. Apollo 13.
Yeah. Yep.
And
That's
Bill Paxton in the high school band.
Yeah. Every time I hear it, I think of Apollo 13.
Yeah. It's just one of those songs where you go, if it's on the radio, nobody's going to change that channel because I think everybody likes that song. So, and it was his only hit.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't come up with another one.
Such a good song too. Yeah.
It's just an excellent. Like I said, I had several songs I could have chose from, but this was one song I always go, I love this song. Love it. That's my choice. Spirit in the Sky. It's in other movies, but the only one I can think of right now is Apollo 13.
Yeah. It's been a lot.
Because didn't Bill Paxton change the...
Yeah, because he plays it, and then Tom Hanks comes over and says, that was supposed to be the theme from 2001, A Space Odyssey.
And Bill Paxton's like...
And then you have the other guy that's in the tower go, man, when I go up on 16, I'm going to bring my entire collection of Johnny Cash.
Well, that guy, what show was that guy in?
I don't know.
Lost.
Was that? Okay.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was that?
That's the guy in Lucia Kills. What's his name? That's who it is. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Becky.
Yeah. Well, I don't see it killed a lot of people.
Yeah, she did.
That's the one that she killed or she stabbed him with the
arm. Yeah. Behind the dumpster.
Not Nathan. What is his name? Why am I drawing a blank on his name? I'm going to get all these love. How did you not remember that? I fell on my head last week. I got a Gorbachev scar on top of my head, so that's my excuse.
I'm not going to tell you what your lip looks like, but okay.
It looks better today.
What?
Well, no, I don't know if Matt's seeing you the way I'm seeing it, but you're not as clear as Matt is to me. So with the fuzzed distortion, it looks like you're a certain dictator from the 1930s.
Right. Yes. That's what I was trying to allude to, but I was trying not to be. You've got a good combination of some fascist.
You are wearing a nice shirt though to go with it. So
at least I have a flag on it, an American flag. So that's why, because I went out in public today. You know what? Yeah. I see it now. People like going. They're like giving me, and they're grabbing their kids, and now I see it. I do have a Hitler mustache. I'm going to say it.
Oh man,
Thanks, Matt.
Sure, I didn't want to be the one to bring attention.
So now we got to get it. What's it? Who played Hitler? What's the guy? Was
Alex Guinness?
Alex Guinness played Hitler.
Alec Guinness.
What's the guy that was in that played Oswald and FDR and not FDR, JFK. Gary Oldman. I think he played.
Oh yeah, he did.
I mean
if not, he'd play a good one. So I mean, the guy.
What's the name of that movie?
I'm Batman.
Chicken Run.
No, there's a German film that was really good that people use that clip over and over again.
Oh,
Hitler
yes.
being mad. Like that guy
Yeah.
did a good job.
That guy.
Oh, you're talking about the guy that they say Hitler likes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hitler likes this. Yeah, that guy's fantastic.
Hitler reacts to this. Yeah.
He gives a great rebuttal to just about everything.
Because you always see it in the fall when it comes to like football games, whatever. It's like, Hitler reacts to the Chargers losing its 5th game in a row or something. And it's like, if I have to hear if I have to hear the Rams one more time, I'll rah, rah, rah.
It's fantastic. It's funny because, it's such a stupid mustache.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody had the guts to tell him, hey, Adolf.
Well, it was really popular in that time, which was crazy. If you see pictures of not because of Hitler, but before Hitler.
Oh, sure.
It was real popular.
Well, I know Herman Goering, he had one, right?
Not during the war.
No.
That I can recall.
Well, his daughter just died.
No, that was Himmler.
Himmler's daughter that's who I'm thinking of. Himmler's he had one, though.
Yeah, Himmler did, yeah.
He was a Hitler wannabe. And his daughter just died, and I guess she was just like pro-Nazi and all this other stuff.
Oh.
Well, they say
the name Hurler, since he was Himmler, was... it was a dumb joke. Okay.
Well, they said that Himmler was actually the craziest one of them all.
Yeah.
He was obsessed with the occult and so many other things.
He's the one that got the concentration camps going and all that other stuff. So, yeah, he's... Oh, man, just a bizarre... Just I don't know. I think I talked about it before on our show, that Netflix thing about Hitler's henchmen. It's really good.
Hitler's Henchmen was an old History Channel series. I haven't written down some of the one you're talking about. Those maybe
I don't know if it's henchmen, but the men under the evil. I don't. It's fascinating if you haven't seen it. Just how people can be so evil, but yet get away with it. But anyway. But no, Spirit of the Sky. Going back to positive.
It's a good one.
Thanks, Matt. I can't look at myself without crying anymore.
Really sorry. I did not mean to make but you said the Gorbachev thing, and it was just.
Well,
I've been looking at it all night.
It's okay to go Gorbachev. It's not like I said Stalin. I mean, what I don't get. Jeez, man.
And you're wearing that Confederate flag shirt.
Uh-huh. I don't know what you're talking about. That's the United States, buddy.
I'm teasing. Jack would never wear that. Well,
so my song.
So now I can't go out in the public until
until this whole thing blows over.
Yeah.
Ever. Was Jack hiding? So my pick for my one-hit wonder. I had a few other selections, but I finally picked one that every single time I hear it, I smile. Every single time I hear it, I have to stop and listen to it. It's from 1994, which is going to be a rarity for 90s songs for me. But here it is.
Oh, yeah.
Right at 29.
Nice.
So that is No Rain by Blind Melon.
Melon.
It was a song that I really liked when I was a 13-year-old
That was in the 90s?
94.
Yeah.
I would have said the 80s, but
yes, 93. Yeah. And they were one-hit wonder. They had 2 records and one after he died. They still are a band, though, that I know of. But that was their one hit. And it was just one of those songs that was just really different. Because it was very much a grunge time, and that was a very bright song, and I at the time, and I loved it. And still. And
you can't help when they go. You have to do it.
Yeah, just it's a great song.
You know what? I'd like all 3 choices. So we're gonna have to assume Chris would have finished in last.
Let me see if I can find Chris's pick.
He sent you one?
Did he send one? Didn't see one that he.
Are you making up one?
Yeah, let me find one.
You know, my runner-up, since while Nick is looking for Chris's, you know, I could have gone in a lot of different directions, and I liked when I first thought of a one-hit wonder. I thought of Aha, Take on Me.
Well, you know what? That was my second choice.
I think about that video and that single, and it's like they're so powerful together. You know, like you can't help but think about one without the other.
It was in the Leftovers.
Oh yeah, it was. So
take on me, take me away.
Yeah, I love that song. So that was another '80s gem that I was kind of thinking about.
I was going to go with King, Steve Martin's King Tut.
It's actually here. I actually was singing that song today because the
King Tut.
The King Tut.
How did you get so funky?
The King Tut exhibit is here at the down by USC right now.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and so as soon as I saw the sign going King Tut, I went, got a throne made of stone.
Thought about trying to pander to some of our listeners and pick the Super Bowl Shuffle because, you know, that's a one-hit wonder. You know, it's amazing that they actually
I thought
came together.
Cleveland Rocks, you know.
Right.
Cleveland Rocks. Which one did you pick for Chris, Nick?
So here it is. Sorry, I started over.
Oh yeah, this sounds good. It's a very Bostonian kind of. This is featured in the movie. We just talked about it the other day.
Adding it to the lyrics, but it's called "Shipping Up to Boston" by the Dropkick Murphys.
Dropkick Murphys. I like it.
It was featured on that movie that we were watching.
The Departed.
The Departed, yeah. I watched it the other day and was messaging back and forth with Nick about it. So, such a good movie.
Were we? Oh, yeah, we were. Yeah, that's right.
I like Nick's face was like, I don't remember that.
Yeah. It hit me, though. I was like, oh, yeah.
I was messing with a tent.
So, oh, so yeah.
Tent flashbacks.
I did say, yeah. So you have to fold it, though, and it's a pain in the butt tent. Anyway. The honorable mention that I wanted to talk about, though, the song, though, it isn't a Wes Anderson film. It's a 1969 song called "Where Do I Go to My Lovely" by Peter Sarsted.
Yeah, I would have totally not guessed that at all.
It's the only hit he had. It was a top 30 hit in the UK, not even in the US. And why I think you'll like it in particular, Matt, is because it's based off of Bob Dylan's "Sad-Eyed Lily of the Lowland."
Oh, okay.
Let me see if I can find it.
Was it featured in the Royal Tenenbaums then?
It's featured in Darjeeling Limited.
Oh, okay. That must be why it's not as much on. I think I've only seen that movie once or twice.
I love that one.
Yeah.
So here's how it starts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I knew it before then because I have a book that I bought in the early 2000s of albums and songs that you don't know but you need to know. And it was one of those that was in there, and I was like, this is a great song. No one knows this song, and so whenever I see a movie that picks out, like even like Guardians of the Galaxy, the Volume 1 did that. They picked a lot of one-hit wonders.
Gawa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it really brings a spotlight to those artists, and that always makes me happy. But yeah,
why couldn't they come up with a second one?
I mean, they did. I mean, it's not as good. The Volume 2 is not as good, but it.
No, I'm saying the one-hit wonders.
Right.
I'm always rooting for them. Come on, you can do it again. Come on.
Come on, Soft Cell. Any day now.
I almost picked Debbie Boone's "You Light Up My Life."
Yeah, that's one.
I almost put. I know it would have lost, but it was so big, and when it came out, and I guess, I don't know if she ever sang again. I mean,
I don't know.
I almost picked "Ooh Child" by the Five Stair Steps.
Mm-hmm.
which went on to influence, I guess, the Jackson 5.
Was it Come On Eileen?
Come on. So there's a lot of them, like, 8675309.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Night Wonders.
Tommy and the Two Tones, or Lenny. Remember, Jay made the Lenny song.
It wasn't on any of the lists that I saw.
Jay song.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was a lost hit. It was one of Jay's songs he did.
Oh no, I'm following you there. I just
okay.
I'm being dry and humorous.
Okay.
My favorite Jay song that he ever did was Dharma Peanut Butter. That's always the one that always sticks in my mind for some reason. Do you know Dharma Peanut Butter?
Don't know Dharma Peanut Butter. No.
So like most of Jay's songs during the lost years were, a guitar riff or whatnot, but
peppy.
Yeah, peppy. But Dharma Peanut Butter was very mood music, because it was during the episode where Jorge Garcia is like, they don't have any peanut butter, so they imagine that they have peanut butter.
Okay.
So he makes it like a mood piece. So he's like, it's like, baby, when you're down on an island, like all by yourself, it's time for some rich, thick Dharma peanut butter. And then every time he says Dharma peanut butter in the deep bass, he comes over the top with a high pitch, Dharma peanut. So it's just a perfect.
He used to lock himself in the room and work on it the whole day. I got an idea for a song. All right, okay, all right, okay. I don't care. Just play it.
That's the best way to get your creative juices going, though. Lock
Yeah.
yourself away from people.
It's true. Like I heard Freddie Mercury talk about that. I think it's actually in that documentary I mentioned, a month and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he said, is that, most songs come really quickly to you. Like you'll think of like a verse, or think of just a couple chord changes, and you either say to yourself, I have something, or I don't. And if you don't capitalize on it right then, it won't happen. And I think that's absolutely true.
I'm not a songwriter, but
yeah, I mean, just any creative impulse.
Right.
I think it's true with anything, because there's always, like, you'll do that. You'll think, oh, look, there's a good idea, and you write it down, and then you'll never come back to it, because it's like,
Well,
I had two shirt ideas last night, and I said, I'll remember it. I can't remember what they were, and I was like, I love that idea. That's a great idea. And I didn't write it down.
If there was a way for you to have something on your head while you sleep, like headphones, and it record every single thing that happens in your dreams, I would buy that product, because I always get so many good ideas and things in that state in between sleeping and awake. Mm-hmm. But I'm too lazy to do anything about it.
And my youngest daughter, and I dream motion pictures. We have they're like motion. I mean, it's like, oh my, wake up, I go, oh, I was just dream. And my wife doesn't. She doesn't have those kind of dreams. She goes, I wish I had those kind of dreams. I go, I don't know what it is. I have them all the time. I mean, sometimes they're scary dreams, but
yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's just they're so graphic, and so because my mind's just not shutting off. And like I said, if I could just connect it.
I often wonder, I guess it's a bit morbid, but I often wonder, people that, people who old, or people who die in their sleep, I always wonder if it's a dream that killed them. Because I mean, think about how many times you have a bad dream, or you have something and you just jerk in your bed, like, and you wake yourself up from how volatile you'll just wake yourself. It's like, well, what happens when you're 88 or 95 or whatever, and you can't do that anymore, and that's just what does it to you.
Wow, I never thought about that, but because I had a stretch like the last 3 weeks before I fell, that I had dreams of death, not just me, but just almost every dream had death. So when we got to the hospital, I said, see, those dreams meant something.
Yeah. Well, it could have meant change. Change was coming, and it was preparing. It was a way for your mind to prepare yourself for.
Yeah, put some pillows around you when you're recording.
They call him Mr. Glass.
Wear a helmet.
Yeah, I've had some pretty prophetic dreams, and also some dreams that have been very powerful and have allowed me to connect to loved ones that have passed. So they're powerful. I wish I could have recorded dreams, so I could. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying, though. Yeah, exactly. If there was something on your head that could record all those things, it would be. Really
But you know
interesting.
what? I would bet that there would be things that we didn't notice in the dream that we were like, oh my gosh, what the hell is that? Why are you dreaming like melting penis clocks all the time? Like nobody knew that.
Wait, melting penis clocks?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just.
I thought that was a candy Nick was talking about earlier in the show.
It's also an alternative.
Clusters.
The penis is big. The penis is the big hand that goes around.
Oh, okay.
That was not how I was imagining it, but that's what the dream.
Wait, why are you in the dream? We got rid of you.
I'm back.
Why does Jack look like Hitler?
That's all I'm gonna think. Oh man, that's disgusting.
Sorry about that, Jack.
This better? You can't see me now. I'm hiding behind the mic.
If it makes you feel any better, there was a period of time where I thought I'd lose the tip of my nose.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I made fun of you for that. But
From what I can see, it looks like it's healing very nicely, though.
Yeah, no, I don't know if they gave you any of that ointment, but mupirocin. It was like this stuff for staph infections, and it really helped it heal up fast. So
yeah, I ended it up, and like I said, the part between the two lips where that's what hurt the most.
Oh.
I don't know what he was put. I thought he was. I said, "What are you putting acid in there?" It burned, but I sucked it up. Cried later. I said, "Well, now that you made me look like Hitler."
Well, I really didn't mean to make that analogy, but it just seemed like low-hanging fruit there. That actually, Nick was the one that put words to it. I just alluded to it. So,
well, yeah. Once you said it, I figured out. It wasn't too hard to figure out what you were talking about. Once I looked close, I went, "Oh my god, I do."
It's just the way the shadow hits it. I don't think that it's going to always be like that. It's also hard too because I can't see you in person. You know, everybody that saw me at the meetup,
no one's going to see me in person. That's
I'll see you at Comic-Con in a couple weeks.
Jack's going as Phantom of the Opera.
You'll know if you'll know if I see you, and then all of a sudden I swerve and walk the other way. I'm like, I'm not touching that guy.
I'll be wearing a costume. I'll just get a stormtrooper outfit and just walk
Why
around.
is he wearing all khaki with a red band around his arm? What's up with that guy?
Anyway, I think this is a good place to end this podcast.
Sounds good.
Hey, do you guys shop Amazon?
I do.
Don't we all?
Who doesn't? Go to Amazon.com/JayandJack or just go to JayandJack.com. Little button there says shop Amazon. And for all your needs, you can get, what were you talking about earlier? You buy
cheese balls.
Cheese balls. And they're the best cheese balls in the world.
In the world.
You will
be happy. People who have not had them, people who remember them as the joyful delight that they are. You do have to buy. It's 12 cans for $24, so it's really not a bad deal.
So it's $2 a can.
Yeah, it's $2 a can. They will be at your door, or I don't know that you can order them now, but they say available on July 15th. So
if you live in New York, you may not want to just have them shipped at your door because the rats.
It's true. They will.
The rats might rip the thing open.
Yeah, cheese balls everywhere.
Yeah. The rats got cheese all over their cheese dust all over their face.
It's like bait. That's what it is. Yeah.
And also, if you'd like to become a patron, help this show. This show is a patron-driven show with all our drum, like what I was going to say. But.
And we have had a blessing, haven't we? I forget the
Joanne.
Yeah, Joanne put a nice post up on the Facebook group of everyone. She's only, was it like 3% of the people in the group are actual patrons, and she said that if we had 17 people new patrons, she would bump it up to a $50 a month.
Wow.
Level.
And
that's even with Matt.
That's even with me. So
yeah.
And all of the money actually goes to all of the podcasters that are on the shows, as well as the web hosting fees. So, and we appreciate everything that you donate. So
yeah, from $1 to $1 million, whatever you guys have, it's all good.
Yeah. And Jack needs a new drinking cup too. So
yeah, I did break my favorite drinking cup.
I was going to mention you could get that on Amazon, but I didn't know how sore you'd be about that.
Well, I can't have a glass one anymore. My wife won't let me have it.
Oh.
So send your beer steins that are World War II memorabilia themed to Jack.
But she wanted to sit in here while I was recording.
Oh,
and she got this new camera from for some reason she bought. I wanted outdoor cameras. She got an indoor camera. I go, what do we need an indoor camera for? But then she because I'm not supposed to really walk around the house without someone being here. So she went to work the other day, and I had to get something downstairs. So I go downstairs. I got it. Came back up. She goes, "Why were you walking around downstairs?" I go,
wow.
I go, well, how did you know that? She goes, the camera. I go, what, do you watch the whole 8 hours of the thing?
She probably had some sensor thing on it.
She gets a signal. She gets something telling her that something's downstairs. Now, we've had like 3 or 4 times. We're both sitting there and it says, someone's in the living room. We look, there's no one in the living room. So I don't know if it's a ghost. I don't know what it is, but
oh yeah, I remember your ghost thing. This will be interesting if you can capture the ghost on.
Yeah, I said, well, maybe we can capture the ghost, but I told her to send it back. We don't need it. Well, we still have it, and we got that on Amazon. So there you go. Also, if you become a patron, you go to patreon.com/JayandJack, or just go to jayandjack.com. Little button there says become a patron. Every little bit helps. But yeah, we love all our patrons. But at this time, we're going to thank 5 patrons, Tack from Tokyo, Eckhart Rickner Glaffler, Molly the Millennial, Ed the Creepy Letter Carrier, and Maggie the Magnificent. Thanks for doing what you do, and thanks for everybody what they do, and thanks for listening to us. And I'm glad Jessica, this podcast was long enough for your commute, because God forbid we do a short podcast.
I mean, she is driving through Canada, so
this podcast should be pretty good for at least
every day.
Commutes.
Every day her drive's 2 hours long.
Yeah, I mean, she lives like just north of Chicago, which is like Canada. So
yeah, that's true.
It's a long way.
There is Wisconsin up there.
What is she going to do when they build that wall between Canada and the United States? Is she going to be able to get through?
I don't know.
No?
I don't know.
I'm kidding.
We should build a wall between the United States and Canada because that's where all the cold air comes from. Even though we probably cold air right now. Yeah,
we need to ice it up, make it real tall.
You know what? We need to keep the Stanley Cup here and keep that's how we keep the cup here. Mm-hmm. Because I know those Canadians. I forgot to say, a kid that used to skate at our rink started when he was like 3 or 4, was drafted in the 4th round by the Colorado Avalanche.
Oh wow!
Yeah, if you would have asked me when he was younger, if he would have, I was shocked when he made the USA under 17 and under team, and he's just an amazing talent now. And I'm like, if you would have asked me when he was younger, I would have said his brother.
Oh,
would have made it. But like I used to ref with his dad, and actually his dad and I were born in the same city, York, PA.
Oh yeah.
But he's not going to sign. I don't think he's still going to college. But yeah, I never would have thought it. Wow. So North Carolina boy gets drafted in the NHL. That's 1 in a million. So congrats to him, Tyler Weiss.
Speaking of 1 in a million, that was we recently got a new iTunes review.
Oh, did we?
And it was a 5-star that simply said, "It's 1 in a million."
Oh,
really? When would you get the review?
Oh, maybe a week ago.
It's
by someone that we know.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, is it?
We actually just talked about it living in Canada.
Oh, really? Wait, hold on a second. She's been listening to this show for all these years.
Hey, you know what?
No, I'm calling her out.
We ask people. We can't call people out. We ask them for their reviews.
All right. Look at my mustache. I can do whatever I want.
Except conquer Russia.
That's what his forehead's for.
Right. He's emerged.
I'm kidding. I'm happy for the review. Thanks for listening for 11 years and finally giving us a review. Yeah.
It's clearly because of me. Thanks, Jessica.
There you go. But no, seriously, if you want to help us out, reviews are great. And we don't get a lot of them. I don't know why. We don't get a lot of them. So go to iTunes, 5-star review. You can say 1 in 2 million if you want to top Jessica.
I think most people tend to actually leave the reviews on the whole enchilada feed, though, and not the individual feeds.
Oh, sure.
Well, I guess that's where a lot of people listen to us.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, if you want to do that extra bit of legwork and check out the Ramblecast feed and actually
get off YouTube for a second. Go to iTunes. It literally takes a minute.
Stop voting on the verses, which we never made fun of everybody's picks because I think we all loved them. So
yes.
That's true. We didn't do that for one.
Well, Jay wasn't here to crap on him.
Yeah.
I can't believe you picked that.
I'm going for the win.
I'm picking Imagine. Anyway.
All right, guys. I think we should wrap it up.
I think we should too. So.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and thanks for everybody. That's all I got. Hasta luego, and goodbye.
See ya.
Great show, guys. It's 1 in a million.
Oh, that's where she got it from.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Wow.